What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 215 of Nerd Rage Radio, and we still are without an intro because we don't know what we're doing for an intro, for one, and also because something keeps messing up on the volume when we have the intro, so for right now, it's not like you need the intro. Do you know what I mean?
It was nice and loud without the intro last week.
Yeah, and this is an intro right now, so just it's not a musical one. That's fine.
Joining me, though, Bobby? Is it? Are you ever okay without a musical intro?
No, actually, no.
Exactly.
And actually, so on real quick, a side note. So Laura and I have started this kind of thing for Patreon called Wine and Cheese, and each episode is going to be called. We're getting a bottle. We're going to treat ourselves
bottle
to
or box.
We're going to treat ourselves to one bottle a month, and in a specific type of cheese, and every episode will be called whatever the bottle is and whatever the type of cheese is, and we just talk about shit that's going on. It's almost like a therapy session, like just catching up over the month, taking time. It's like a marriage thing. Like we're taking time for ourselves to have like a conversation without like running around and picking these shoes up and getting that one and taking that one to basketball and whatever. And then, at any rate, I forget why I brought this up now.
Music.
Anyway, I found a way to incorporate music into that too, where like after we have like a conversation, we have like a little palette, like she'll say something, I'll say something, we discuss that, and then we're kind of done with that, and we'll have like a little palette cleanser where we play something and then start again.
Any contributions to the Skullface Wine and Cheese Club? There's going to be a new level on Patreon opening up. It's called the $50 bottle of wine Patreon.
Yeah. But our bottles will not be that. Actually, the one that we had was from Maryland Phil from Crab Fest, and it was quite good. It was bitter as fuck, but in all the right ways. Do you know what I mean?
We're still looking for a new logo, right?
Yeah.
You got any submissions?
I haven't gotten any yet. I did.
Because you mentioned it at the end of the show. I'm like, maybe we should mention it at the beginning of the show.
So everybody knows we're looking for a new logo. It does not have to incorporate our faces or any of our trademark personalities. It can just be a cool logo. I did get sent one kind of teaser image. Somebody's working on something. So, but the more the merrier. I mean, we could use them in all sorts of different clever ways.
Like a raffle?
Like a raffle.
Maybe.
So joining me, I have Uncle Dolphin.
What up?
And I have Chris Pinkerton, if you're nasty.
What's up, party people?
So we have a lot to discuss. Chris is back from NYCC, so we're
right.
going to get some stories from him and maybe talk about some of the reveals and such, which there wasn't a lot of, I feel like.
It wasn't a lot that I saw. It was a lot of, you've seen this on the internet, and now see it in person kind of stuff.
It's like that nowadays, though. Like just like why third-party panel is pointless to go to. Well, also because nothing's coming out.
Yeah, that too.
But
that's a big part.
It's like you've seen everything.
You know, I was thinking about that this year. I was thinking that I have no interest in the third. I'll probably just hang out I'll probably enjoy the dealer room for the first time with nobody in it.
Yeah.
Because I have no interest in that this year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're just going for the folks.
I mean, you still have detox with the samples up anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just look at those.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I have a couple of things I want to talk about, but first I want to say we got a lot of feedback last week.
Gary.
Yeah, where have you been hiding this guy?
I'm sorry, I'm out of the loop because I haven't listened. Is this
do yourself a favor?
Used to call in Gary?
Yes. He saved all his rants
okay.
and dropped it last week.
I will go back and listen as I have time this week.
So to the listeners, I know that he's a riot. Trust me, I've been doing everything in my power to get him to come through more often. I finally got him for one, and it's because he wants something from me, truth be told. But doesn't matter. He still came, and so to speak. And I will also, I'll try to get one more out of him. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's hard because he doesn't live very close, and he's got two boys, and they're into a ton of shit, sports and the like, and then his wife, and all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, he's easily aggravated. So it's tricky. But yeah, I know he's awesome. Trust me, I want him here as much as you do.
Do you think he likes going to the beach? Do you think that's just sand?
I think he likes the idea of going to the beach. I don't know if he ever likes anything. To be honest,
I can understand that.
He's just an angry man, but in all the right ways. So, with that being said, Joe, let's start with you.
Let's see. A few things. Oh, we talked about, I forgot to mention, A Cure for Wellness last week. Mm-hmm. You should watch it because it's naked old people.
What is it called?
You like naked old people.
What is it called?
A Cure for Wellness.
A Cure for Wellness.
It's like suspense.
Is this an anime?
No. I think it's built as a horror, but it's more like it's same kind of vibe as Shutter Island, but like different.
Yeah, no, I'll check it out. I didn't know it had naked old people in it.
Yep, exactly. That's why I had to bring it back up. And speaking of naked old people, I watched Midsommar. Do you guys watch that one?
What was it called?
No.
Midsommar.
It's like
I remember the trailer.
It's
There's like a cult. Like a cult.
It's the same people that made Hereditary.
Okay, yes.
So has naked old people in it again.
Beautiful.
Is Kathy Bates involved in any capacity?
No. Is she specifically the one you want to see still?
Again.
I'm not sure how her body's holding up nowadays.
She was naked in that, what was that, Jack Nicholson movie? She was. Where he would write the letters.
Where she got in the hot tub.
Yeah, and he would write. I always loved that he would write the letters to the kid. I guess in Africa, it says, "Dear in Voodoo, today my wife." It's like his therapy. It's writing letters to this. kid.
That was great.
I can't remember the name of that. Somebody tell me.
I want to say it starts with an A.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
IMDb continues.
But I enjoyed it. Right? I mean, it's interesting. It's one of those to watch it once and done kind of movie. But like, I don't know. A lot of movies, I feel like, especially with suspense and horror.
About Schmidt.
I said it started with an A.
Yeah.
I said it started with an A.
Yeah. The characters, or like the happenstances, sometimes it's just infuriating. And I think I'm just done with it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to curate my entertainment like I curate my Facebook. If it's going to make me mad, I'm not going to fucking watch it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I know it's fake. I know it's a fucking fiction.
Right.
You know, but like if you get into it, if it's good enough for me to get into it, I'm gonna feel that way. But
so do you so what are the types of things that you'd be worried about upsetting you? Like what would you like say? Okay, I'm staying away from this, and this. This is the type of thing
on entertainment or
yes.
I think maybe I should start learning writers because I feel like some. How do I say? It's not a political thing. It's just it's just like it's unreal, or maybe it is real. How dumb some people act sometimes.
You mean the characters?
Yeah, the characters.
Okay.
Or like why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's both. It's both. If I'm into the movie, then I'm like that's fucking dumb. It makes me mad. And if I'm not that into the movie, I'm like that's dumb writing. That's shit writing. Why would you write a situation where
who would act like that?
Who would act like that?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's hard. I don't watch movies when they first come out anyway. So I'll just let people, just like Joker, I haven't seen it. Nothing but rave reviews from all over my feed and all from you guys. So I'm assuming it's good.
And I was reluctant.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
it's happened a lot lately. It feels like you like some things you're reluctant on ends up being real good. Some things you're into like ends up not being not so good.
Yeah. It's been a weird year, man. For I was thinking about it. Not to cut you off, I'm gonna let you finish. But so I was super excited for Endgame, didn't like it. I was super excited for Game of Thrones and thought it was fine. Mm-hmm. I was not super excited for Spider-Man and I thought it was good. Mm-hmm. I was not super excited for Joker. I was super worried about Joker and I liked it a lot. So far, it is my favorite movie of the year.
Until Star Wars came out, obviously.
Shazam, I thought was going to be trash, and I liked it.
What else came out? Spider-Verse? Was it this year or was that last year?
I think that was last year. Okay. That was November of last year.
Okay, right.
Yeah. But if you think about that, like my favorite films of the year are the ones I was least looking forward to. But they're both DC films as well. Mm-hmm. You know, so maybe that is something. Maybe it's just.
You were excited about Joker at first, but then then
I started getting worried.
Yeah, you brought your expectations down.
And I will say the spoilers that we read, you, Adam, and I. Remember? Do you remember? I'm pretty sure you were here. Tyler sent them in the chat, and we read them. It was like the whole Joker plot earlier this year. Do you remember?
Yeah,
it's it.
Yeah,
it's it.
It was pretty close,
and didn't bother me in the least. So just to go back to my spoilers ruin it for Bobby. Spoilers do not. It was pretty much the exact plot, and I liked it. And I liked it far more than I thought I would.
For me, I don't think spoilers is just a story because like you can easily boil down a story into some lines, and when you watch it, it's not the same. It's a twist that bothers.
We didn't talk about it, but I read that what Tyler had posted that time.
Yeah,
I don't remember talking about it.
I think I might have read it to Adam or I can't remember how it went.
I'm sure we're going to get into that movie. I'm sure.
Yeah, but like,
it's like just a plot twist that you don't want to be spoiled with.
I don't think it has anything to do with any of it. I don't think it has anything to do with any of it. The whole argument that spoilers ruin movies for Bobby came up because of Endgame. Because I read this.
Well, I don't think so. That was a
correct.
I don't think so. My problem with you doing that is it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that you have no fucking patience to find out to watch.
Do you not know Bobby?
I mean, no, I'm serious.
He spray painted Aditov
poorly.
Yes.
Very poorly.
We live 10 minutes from I almost said Hechingers, Home Depot.
Hechingers. Dude, shout out to Hechingers.
Had to shout out Hechingers.
Dude, wait, moment of silence for Hechingers. Okay, continue.
What the fuck is
Dude, Hechingers was like this, like
before Home Depot.
It was like this local,
like a local, like an Ace.
Yeah,
or something?
yeah. Where we grew up, and it was like I hated going in there as a kid, but
now it's different.
But I missed it when it went away. I was like, oh man, it's sad.
So I use spray paint a lot, and anytime that I'm heavy handed with it, I was like, that's a skull face mark. Fucking shit.
Yeah, but and here's the thing about like the end game specifically, I didn't track those spoilers down, and I didn't track down spoilers for Justice League, and I didn't track down spoilers for BVS. But you know, when it comes to DC, Adam has a hard time. It's like his Marvel. I mean, it's like his Star
Wars.
His Star Wars. He has a hard time keeping himself back from it. So he would track it down, and then if you've tracked it down and you want to talk about it, I'm kind of like, okay, like I'll listen to it. So those conversations were had. I think some of the spoilers that he had for Justice League were actually far better than what Justice League ended up being.
That's the other way that spoiler can spoil you.
Yeah, but and who knows? Maybe what he had was kind of the Snyder direction. You know, who's to say? But the thing with Endgame is that like what set me off about it was how the Marvel people, I've said this 1,000 times, but just because I don't feel like people hear me. The Marvel people came out and said, don't pay any attention to the spoilers. Nobody has it. So then I was like, oh, well, brand new party. And then I was like, no, this is
the exact party.
This is the exact party I just went to.
Yeah.
You know, and then seeing it and then experiencing that film. I don't know. I want to get into a conversation about DC and Marvel a bit today, because like I finally feel like with this Joker movie, like they've kind of course corrected in a bit. I feel like that is where DC needs to exist
in these single movies.
Not even
necessarily. I think they could build a world out of this, but it's got to be dark.
It's got to be the tone. It's the
got
tone.
to be.
They have to shoot the movie like it's a real movie. Mm-hmm. Like it's not a fantastic.
I don't
fun
think
ride.
there was a single special effect in that movie that was super
like
visible.
a CGI.
No, right.
Right.
I didn't see any CG in them.
The problem with building a world around, not I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's great. Not the problem with building a world around this movie or any movie is that like for one franchise to have multiple movie worlds. If you know what I mean, wouldn't that be a bit convoluted, especially if a lot of the same characters live in the same world?
Yeah.
Let's say you build a world around this Joker, a series of movies, and then you build a series of movies around Suicide Squad. That's different.
So
but it's the same.
But it's DC.
I know, but like for like
And
just
Marvel
entertainment
does it the
purposes.
same way.
yes, I agree. But I don't think they should make movies with the intention of them being crossed over. Just don't rule it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if somebody comes along in 10 years and is like, wait a minute, this could all be connected, then connect it. Okay. You know, I don't think it needs to be what it does need is this. And it's because like Man of Steel to me feels like it could exist in the same world. Like it all.
Same world as Joker?
Yeah. Like it doesn't feel like Justice League feels like a totally different world to me than this world. Aquaman, even though I like that movie a lot, doesn't feel like part of this world. But Man of Steel, BVS, they all feel like they're part of not that they are, but if somebody was like, no, here's the connective thread. This doctor is actually the cousin that they talk about in some scene. Is like, oh, okay. I wouldn't be like nonsense. You know, it has to do with the approach. That Mickey, no pun intended, the Mickey Mouse shit doesn't work for DC. Mm-hmm. You know. And I don't mean that in the Disney sense, just like the fun romp, as it were.
My problem is I wouldn't want it to end up like comic books, where this could be this world, this could be that world, or like for the general audience to be like have to fucking pull out the red threads and fucking connect all the dots.
When I get to my week, I've got some actually very poignant information right on top of what you're saying.
Okay, I'm like either it is or it fucking isn't. You know what I mean? I don't
think-
want 10 years down the road to look back 10 years movie. Oh, that might be part of this. I'm like,
Yeah, well, I
I understand why people are interested. Just like in comic books, they're like when you read something, it's like remember this issue back in this.
Yeah,
this
they'll put the
76.
star and it'll
and
say,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, I guess. You know,
There's a very Jeff
sometimes it's
Johns-
okay, sometimes, but like a lot of times it's not. For me, anyway, just personal preference.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that if they let go of the connected universe, if they just sort
Because
of,
I feel like they have, right?
well, I mean, we got Shazam, which was part of that universe, and we're getting Birds of Prey, which is part of that universe. So and we're getting Suicide Squad 2, which is part of that universe. So I'm not sure.
I'm already confused.
Well,
For me, and I'm not sure what the
so it's just one.
person would think.
So it's one movie. As of right now, it's one movie that's not.
Yeah, Joker's the only movie that's not just
As of right now.
that we know of, but we don't know for sure though.
But yeah, that's true, I guess. But I think that the key is to not confuse, is to let go of the connected universe, to let go of it, the what we have so far, like the Birds of Prey stuff and all of that, like that stuff, that bottom row stuff right there, is to let go of that, and then eventually. If they want to connect it, and if they don't want to, that's fine too. I'll take standalones. I'm good with that, or even standalone trilogies or whatever. Like this is the
I'm
Green
good with that
Lantern
too.
trilogy, and
Right.
I'm perfectly good with that. I don't
But-
need everything to be fucking connected.
But I want the tone to all work.
Yes.
I want the kind of motif to feel like it's all part of the same world, and therefore, if they do decide to do it, it's not jarring. You're not like, how the fuck?
They need a style book.
Yes,
That's what they need.
Yes, it's like they need to be working from the same color palette.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they need to do.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry. Continue.
and I saw. I caught up on most of my anime, so like I started watching Bob Ross again. That's great, man. Before bed, I didn't know there's a specific series on Netflix. It's called Chill with Bob Ross, and it's
Yes.
all winter scenes.
Yeah. So it's funny. I watched that and I took it as just chill. I didn't realize it was chill.
But yeah, I fucking love Bob Ross, man.
You got to chill out.
But all
Everybody chill.
of his cabins are fucking horrifying for some reason.
Yeah.
He would paint
That's
this
how he
beautiful
does it.
scenes and it's peaceful, and then he would just put a fucking horror cabin. Every single one.
Why is he putting a blood stain on the door?
So I love watching. I remember watching Bob Ross as a kid on them.
Yes, me too. I'm on
Yeah, me
Channel
too.
22 in Maryland.
Yeah, it's on
PBS.
It's on PBS or whatever, and it's very interesting. I don't know if you ever read anything about like him. Very interesting story. He basically got called a thief because that technique is called a wet palette technique, and it's not very commonly used in oil painting. Most people let it dry and then go back with a different color.
He talked about how he was taught that by
Right.
somebody in the Navy or
Well,
some shit.
The guy who taught him claims he stole that idea because nobody else was doing it back in the day.
But it's a painting technique. How can you? Oh, wait.
I have a fun fact about him.
He did- oh.
Brutus. May he rest in peace. His uncle. He was a friend of mine from childhood. His father. His father and Mario's father. They were brothers. They had different fathers. They were best friends, and they sold cocaine. And they sold cocaine to many people. One of them was Bob Ross.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I had there was this picture that they used to have framed in their living room of both of their fathers, like at this party, obvious party, and Bob Ross hanging out with them in the middle.
That's
Like,
fucking awesam.
yeah, it was
That
pretty-
is wild.
that is a fucking treasure. I hope that picture still exists somewhere.
Yeah, I hope that the mother took care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to go back, like, well, he didn't say he invented it, first of all, so he didn't fucking steal
Right.
shit. He said it was taught it. And second of all, no one told the other guy he couldn't fucking go on PBS and paint his shit.
He probably has no personality or a great afro.
And I was thinking that Bob Ross is the YouTuber before YouTube. He talks nonstop.
Yeah.
To fill dead air while he's painting,
Yeah.
teaching you to do something
Yeah,
that you
that's
can
true.
do because it's easy. And then he will cut in a little bit slice of life like a vlog. He would
That's
like
true.
show you the squirrels that he's fucking raising and shit.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So I'm like, oh my god, this is the blueprint.
I'm with you. I'm on board. You sold me. I get it. I'm signed on to that as a philosophy regarding Bob Roth and the origins of YouTube. I think every YouTuber should have to pay tribute to Bob Ross in their description.
I feel like it. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob Ross.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Just drop a BR in your comment.
Yeah.
And
BR in the comment.
last I went to Costco this week. I haven't gone grocery shopping in a long time, and I realized I can't do it. I can't go because I'm a fucking child. I was fucking running around the goddamn place like an idiot, grabbing samples like a fucking idiot.
Oh, the sample game is strong.
And just grabbing shit off the shelf because I wanted it.
Yeah.
I don't. Krista had to like slow my. I said, "Stop! Put it back."
Did you eat before you went?
No, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
I came home.
Can't go hungry.
I came home with 2 boxes of cheese danishes, and I'm on a cut. And I ate 2 boxes of cheese danishes within 2 days.
Damn,
Good grief!
You know those cheese danish? They're each like the size of like a small dinner plate.
they're like the honey buns.
If you brought any of those with you today.
No, I ate them all.
Because I'm hungry.
No. I can't go to. I cannot.
But you
go.
can't go like you can't like go eat the buffet and then go because you're like, oh god, everything looks so gross.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to eat like it's like a 2 hour.
Reasonable.
It's like a 2 hour window, right? You got to find the right spot. We don't have any sort of club memberships because it got to the point where I mean that is a lot of soup. But it seems like we always end up throwing shit out that was probably that portion that we're throwing out is probably all the savings we had. So it was kind of
a lot of soup to drink.
I don't, like my wife once she's like, "Will you go to the store?" I said, "I will go to the store if you will make me a list laid out by aisle, so I don't have to bounce all over the store."
like IKEA, aisle, whatever, row, whatever.
So she just like it was like put all the produce in one list and then whatever.
It looks so good, man. I could not leave the bakery section.
Yeah,
they're fucking, and the cooked food too. It's huge, but it's only me and Krista. But we save money on club membership, right? Because me, Krista, and my parents just have one membership because how blurry the fucking card is. They can't tell my mom and Krista apart.
What do you mean, Joe?
Just saying it's a blurry picture so anyone can use it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Think I could use it? Think I could use it? Is it that blurry, Joe? Is the height kind of blurry too?
I can probably use it.
Okay. Fair.
You'd be like, no, this was me. I was going through a phase.
I used to have long hair. So no, we use it. We use it. We go to Costco like once every. Oh, she goes to Costco once every 2 weeks, and we eat everything.
Nice.
Because she cooks all the time. So, and she works from home, so she's cooking every day for lunch. She can't go out.
There you go.
That's true.
But that was my nerd week.
Nice.
Just calm, chill, enjoy myself.
I'm gonna go next because I want to dig into New York when we get to Chris. I've had an eventful nerd week.
Yes. How's your phone?
My phone. So
yeah, I heard. I was unplugged this week, so to speak. So I missed out on some things. But
as it turned out, I was kind of unplugged too.
Yeah, Bobby said he was
finally. Like I'm always like, be careful if you don't fucking save all your data. If you lose your fucking phone, that's it. He said, "Nah, I'm gonna roll the dice."
Oh, you went.
How's the dice?
Yeah. So
Snake Eyes.
It's dead. It's dead. Just needs to be charged. This is the phone that got run over.
I mean, just visually, it looks like it's fine.
Okay, so it's a bit more complicated than that. So
and that is an iPhone.
This is a 7.
A 7.
And I was with some people, and I put my phone on top of a pickup truck hood that hadn't moved in a very long time and showed no indication that it was going to be moving anytime soon.
It sounds like you're trying to take blame off yourself.
So let me say this. It's 1,000% my fault. 1,000% my fault. I'm just explaining my thought process. So I was showing a person how to do something, and I had my phone in my hand. I saw a teachable moment. So I put my phone down, which happened to be on the hood of this turned off vehicle that had been there for some time. And I had the teachable moment. I then was like, you know what? I need some carrots. So I went to go get this bag of carrots I had brought. And I came out, and the pickup truck was gone. So I instantly grabbed both of my butt cheeks to make sure that it wasn't in my back pocket. And it was not. So I went into panic mode. I retraced my steps for the carrots. And I was like, I know where it is. I know in my heart where it is. So called the guy. He was like, yeah, I'm on my way back. I have your phone. I'll explain when I get there. So he comes in. He says he drove. He hit this one point of Washington Boulevard. It went flying off his hood, hit his side view mirror on the passenger side, which is the only reason why he knew anything had happened. Fell into the middle of the road. He pulled over. A tractor trailer ran over it. A Jeep and a sedan.
Nice. He
finally gets to it. It beat the OtterBox off of it.
So you don't have the OtterBox anymore?
There is no OtterBox.
That's
There's remnants of an OtterBox.
They'll replace him.
Yes.
If you have enough to
But I mean,
them.
like, it did this job looking at this phone.
So,
that's a good box.
When I got the phone, the screen was shattered to a billion pieces.
Oh.
When I pressed the on button.
So like a side chick phone. Why are your fingers always bleeding, girl? You know how this phone is.
It's so true. When I pressed the on button, it lit up. But not properly. Just like purple stripes and green stripes, and there was one part down here that literally looked like a keyboard, like a piano keyboard. But I turned the sound on, and it would ding when I was getting notifications. Bing, 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 doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. So I was like, all right. So I needed to get a new phone, stat. So I went and I got the 11, which is what I have now, and it's nice. It's nice. It was a whole debacle with that. And then I wanted the stuff off of it. I had pictures on it and videos. And but the most important stuff was I had pictures from some of the vacations we had been on. I had, what else did I have?
Videos of the kids?
Videos of the kids. I had pictures of the kids, obviously. And I had
naughty stuff?
I do have some naughty stuff on there. And I have notes that are like irreplaceable. Like it would have been a real bummer to have lost these notes. And I had voice memos that were irreplaceable. Like I have a voice memo with Candy on it, you know, and like, so that was the shit that was like weighing on me. So I took it to this. So I'm calling Apple. I'm calling everybody. Everybody's like, I got bad news for you. It's impossible. It's like, I don't believe it. It was Luke in Empire Strikes Back. It was, you're asking the impossible. So I was like, fuck. So Laura said, look, I heard about a guy.
There's a rumor on the street.
Contact this guy. So I contacted him. I say to him, I was like, look, tell him the situation. He's like, the bad thing about those iPhones is, you know, you're probably never going to get sound out of it again. You're probably never going to get, thank you. You're probably never going to get this. You're probably never going to get that. And so I'm trying to get a word in edgewise, and I can't. Finally, he gives me a gap, so to speak. And I'm like, I already got a new phone, buddy. I already got a new phone, and this one is still making sounds. And he's like, well, you should have said so. He's like, bring it by. Let's see if we can do it. So I was like, cool. So I go by there, and he looks at the phone, and he's like, it's gonna work. So he grabs all my stuff off of it. He puts it on my phone, my new phone, and then he gives me a new screen. And do you know what he charged me?
What? How's that?
Big fan of what I do. Big fan of Bobby Skullface. Big fan of all of that.
Really?
Yeah. The oddest things.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So did you have on a shirt or something? Is that how he knew who you were?
Tattoos.
Gave it away.
Tattoos.
That is crazy.
It was nuts. So then he said to me,
did you tell me you had shirts for sale? Because I know other people would have.
So what I did was I got all the information off of it, and I took that gift, and then I was like, hey man, can I get a new screen for this? Do you think it'll be all right? And he was like, I don't see why not. And I was like, well, let me pay you for that. Let me pay you for that. I accept your gift. Thank you. Let me pay you for this. And he was like, okay. So he did all that, and he gave it back to me. And then I was like, what do I owe you? And he was like, I think it was $90. And I was like, that seems low. And he was like, no, that's just my going rate. I don't charge people an arm and a leg. I'm just trying to kind of maintain my business. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, oh, and I threw in an extra battery for free. I figured you might argue me if I was doing it while I was doing it. So I just did it, and I've already charged you, and we're good to go. So I went on about my business.
That's awesome. So does that phone work?
Yes.
So are you still just gonna?
So I'm still using this one. I'm probably going to turn this into some sort of iPod type of thing.
That's what I was going to say. So my I don't live in your world, Bobby. Joe and I live in a different world,
Yes.
a Samsung world. And I still have, I don't even know what phone this is, but the one before it's a Note, and it literally, I think the reason I have carpal tunnel is that phone is so fucking heavy. But I use it as my exactly. I stream music with it in my shop. It's on my Wi-Fi. Every once in a while, it's like, you need to call this number to get this phone. Nah, I don't need to do that.
So
I just use it as a.
That's my plan.
Yeah,
and I'm
It
going
works great.
to. What am I going to do? There was something else I was going to say. Doesn't matter.
But you got the brand new iPhone
11.
11, yeah.
And it's nice. It's nice. But Laura was like, "Oh, very complicated plot you did to kind of get your new fucking phone," and I was like, "Look, I don't want this. This is what I want. I had everything set up exactly how I wanted and exactly how I used it. I didn't want the headache of this.
Right.
I was good here. The only thing that doesn't work on this is the camera and the flashlight. Everything else works fine.
See, I want to mess around with that camera on your new phone. Have you taken any pictures with it yet?
I have. I don't really
Can't tell the difference.
I mean, but
On your screen, you can't, but once you put it on, once you put it on a real monitor,
I'm very cynical.
I'm sure there's. I mean, even on my lowly Samsung, there's a focus feature where you can. I think even your old phone had that portrait mode. But it just is incredible.
No,
I know the
but
new
that is
cameras.
cool.
Yeah.
I knew new cameras are different because like Krista has the Pixel 3. And like when I take a picture, like I have to ask her to take pictures for me sometimes and send them to me because hers just looks so much better.
Yeah. I don't know.
Especially when you post it like on Facebook or something. Like if you're on a computer, you can tell the difference.
I mean, I have a DSLR and I can barely turn it on. I have no clue what I'm doing. If anybody shoots Canon and can help me, please reach out.
We also have DSLs. When I say so.
After this weekend, maybe.
So anyway, the other.
So have you learned your lesson? Are you backing up your data now?
Well, I have it backed up now on 2 different phones. But yes, I have. I'm not backing it up, but I am going to. I'm sorting through my pictures now, and I'm uploading them to my picture places.
The cloud?
No. To picture.
Never the cloud.
Is that the Bill Cosby thing? Picture places? Picture places?
Yeah,
Oh, it's
like like Shutterfly or Snapfish or wherever, so that I can have them in a place that's that wants to keep them to make money. So let me think what else. So I've gotten some good sleep here recently, and I don't want to turn this into a sleep podcast, but I don't.
I've been having shit sleep. So let's talk about this.
You're
talking my sleep.
We traded. So I must. I don't know what happened, but so the night I got my phone all sorted out, it was last Thursday. Went to sleep after Joker and all that bit. Woke up at 7:30, which I can tell you it might as well have been noon. And you know what I mean. I usually sleep till about 5. Mm-hmm. Popped up out of bed and I was like, shit, Force Friday. I came downstairs. You know when you walk downstairs and when you get up, is most of your family up?
No, Lord, no.
Really?
No, dude. They're 9 or 10 o'clock sleepers.
Oh, really?
At best. I mean, I have to pry some of them up.
Aside from Jana, I'm always the last one up. And I came downstairs and it was fucking good, positive vibes. And like, I love walking down into positive vibes. It affects my entire day. So like, everybody's laughing and joking and handing coffee and try my turkey sausage and have a bite of this and all of this. And I was like, oh my God, yes. And I was like, look, I'm kind of behind schedule because I want to go out to Force Friday. And Laura was like, oh, no worries. Your cup of coffee's ready. The baby's all set. Head on out the door. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll see you soon. I gave her a kiss before I left, like a TV couple. So I got on the road with the baby. Not the rapper, but my baby, and then I
didn't even know
that could go a lot of different ways.
So then I went to Target. I caught not that one either, but I caught the entire first wave on my first spot, the entire Black Series first wave.
Oh yeah, I saw you posted that dump of
my
sack.
So that's another thing. So I entire first wave, and then I went over to Walmart. I got the exclusive from Walmart I wanted in the entire first wave of vintage collection that I wanted. Second stop, checked off the list. So the only thing I'm missing now is the GameStop exclusive of Commander Fox. That's the only thing I wanted. So I went over to GameStop, and I'm early. Okay, fine. So I opened up all my figures and I put all the trash in a public trash can and I just kept my bag, my little satchel. Like, this day is fucking beautiful. Baby's having a great time. People are in the line They are for the New York Comic Con Pops.
Yes.
So GameStop, I guess, had some sort of distribution rights to them.
So they do that every year.
Okay.
With San Diego and New York, they do exclusives. They call it a shared exclusive. So
which I think is great.
There's right.
Yeah.
There's truly stuff that's only available at the cons. But
Yes.
I think 80% of what they do at both of those cons ends up available either through
BBTS.
BBTS,
Yeah.
Entertainment Earth does a lot of it. The GameStop, FYE.
FYE still exists? I thought they died.
It's actually a really nice one in Westminster. Actually.
Really?
I haven't gone to the
mall
mall in a long
there.
time. I just assumed they died. Who buys CDs anymore other than Bobby?
No, listen. So they've got a sign up that says Bobby Skullface, and it's like it's the weirdest group of music. It's like Tool and fucking Wu-Tang, like these Wu affiliates, and like
affiliates.
It's like they're cousins. It's like, yo, I'm a cousin to the Wu affiliate, so I'm locked down.
I keep up with the
like
Wu,
a bee sting.
I keep up with the Wu affiliates just to have good conversations with Dust.
I guess.
So anyway, I went on and there's like a lot lines forming up now, right? And I have no idea what the fuck's going on with these Pops, but I'm looking around at the numbers and I'm like, okay. I think there's only 4 of these things here, and there's like 12 of us. Mm-hmm. So somebody's going to lose, somebody's going to win, and I'm second person in line. So the moment we get in the door, I'm like, "Where's the Black Series?" And this lady's like, "Everybody line up," and I'm like, and like. This lady's a fucking bitch, and she's like, "Everybody line up! I want the line to come down here, this here." And I was like, "I'm looking for the Black Series," and she's like, "All exclusives are behind the counter.
Dude, I'm on her side, man. I work retail.
So
yeah,
Do you know that you don't know how it feels to go to work, like to open a retail store and people are fucking lining up and you haven't even fucking turned the lights on? That's me every fucking weekend. I fucking beat those people with a pipe if I see them after the apocalypse.
So I'm looking behind the counter. And I don't see any of Black Series exclusives behind the counter. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking and I'm like, okay, and everybody's getting the pops. And it gets to me and I'm like, I'm here for the Black Series exclusive. She's like, we don't keep these behind the counter. And I was like, I know. And I tried to tell you twice, but you didn't want to hear me. Nope. You were sure that you knew what I wanted, but you fucking didn't. And now here I am after wasting 20 minutes in line with you to find out what I want. So where's what I want? And she was like, well, what do you want? The Commander Fox Black Series exclusive. She's like, oh, that didn't come in. Thanks for your time. And I walk out the door. So I called the GameStop in Mount Airy. And they were like, there's 4 coming. They're coming UPS and they're coming today. And I was like, can you reserve one for me? No, we cannot. And I was like, okay. She's like, I was like, when are they expected? She said 11 to noon. So I called at 11. And she was like, are you the same person? And I was like, yes, and I'm sorry. I apologize for being a nuisance ahead of time. I know it's obnoxious. She was like, it's no worries, but it's not here yet. I said, okay. I called back at noon. She was like, the fucking truck just backed in. Let me check and see if it's there. She checked. She was like, it's here. I have 2 that are reserved for people that pre-ordered them and 2 copies left. And I was like, can you hold one for 10 minutes? And she was like, yeah, get on the road. And I was like, I'm on my way. So I went down there and I got that. Picked up the box of wine that we get was on sale at Mount Airy Liquor Store there. Mm-hmm. I picked up a fucking case. So I got everything I wanted on Friday. That's the first Force Friday ever where I got everything. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just pre-order all that shit?
Couldn't.
You couldn't pre-order that shit. Nobody had it for order.
Big Bad Toy Store put up the pre-order at noon, I think, on Force Friday.
Really? It's very strange. They were forcing people to retail.
Yep. Well, I think that, yeah, I think so.
I mean, if the retail stores are going to carry exclusives, I'm sure they have a deal to where, like, make it worthwhile for everybody.
I know, like, nobody did a midnight, because you and I have been the past 2 times for the midnight, and I'd gone, prior to moving up here. And it was kind of from everything I saw, it was kind of disappointing. Everybody was like, "Nope, I went at midnight," and people have no clue. Like at Walmart, and they never did. They never did. They're like, "You want me to do what?" I know, like the Mount Airy Walmart. I went in there Saturday, maybe, or maybe it was yesterday. They had like 2 pegs with some of the 3 3/4 stuff on it, and not a spot for the rest of it. So I don't know if they've moved on from the Black Series or what.
What can I do for you, baby? What? Oh, okay. All right. Hold on.
Tiramisu?
Yeah, you guys talk.
That's why I heard she
Yeah,
did.
So I don't know. It's interesting that they're pushing to retail.
No, I'm saying like it would be worthless for the retailers to bother getting the rights to distribute exclusive and no one's going to come in.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I assume they would too, because if they only carry 4 units at a time, they're going to fucking sell it.
Well, from the exclusive standpoint, I get it, but like just the the case assortment 17, the first, like, why is that not just, why can I not? Because I know when I was selling wholesale on that shit, trying to make that $1.50 per figure, I could get it. I ordered shit early. I remember one time I got a case, and it actually showed up for me early. Like, I think it showed up on like a Monday, and I like shipped it to him so he could actually have it before release. But I remember saying to someone on a thread or something about this, that I'm really glad I'm not super into this anymore, because I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's like 3 or 4 different versions of the Mandalorian figure. There's like a metallic one.
Did you already pre-order the Hot Toys Mandalorian?
I have not yet.
I'm surprised.
So let me say this. I did that Force Friday video. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I did a Force Friday video this past Friday on everything that was coming out or had been rumored or whatever in Force Friday. That shit did 3.6 thousand views in 24 hours, which for a Star Wars content,
that's awesome.
Yeah, but it was just a tool, because like it was confusing, and I thought it was confusing as well. But they basically had 3 versions of 6 figures.
Yeah,
there was a standard black box, red back, Black Series figure.
What are the white boxes?
They're called the first edition release or something. They're just like some limited collector thing.
It's just the box is different?
Correct.
Dumb.
But the box is sharp.
I know.
Like,
it's a good looking box.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
Who's collecting boxes here in this room?
No, nobody. But for the
some people do, I guess.
Correct. And then the third kind was a carbonized version, quote unquote, which just is a metallic paint. It's like the Fans Toys. And they are doing they had like the Mandalorian had one. There was like 6 of them, and every store had one. Like Target had one, Walmart had one, GameStop had one, Amazon had one. But I didn't really want, I thought I would want the Mandalorian, and I may still, but I didn't see. That was the one I didn't see, so I just got the standard version.
Right.
But I saw some of the other ones and put them side by side, and I was like, I don't even want this.
What's the difference, right?
Well, it's like
Is it not enough of a difference to warrant having both?
It's almost like there's too much. It's like this is going to stand out and not look like it's part of the same world on my shelf. Do you know what I mean? Like it's going to look awkward.
It's like too much sauce.
Yeah,
and you're collecting the character. You're not collecting like fucking.
Correct. I mean,
just not collecting everything anyway.
Yeah, and also I want it to look accurate. So I feel like the Sith Trooper specifically.
Is that the red one?
Yeah, like it doesn't look metallic. It looks
red.
So it looks like glossy.
That one, red one over there. Is that which one? Is that the standard or the
standard?
Okay.
Yeah, like car paint.
I got one metallic one. And that was the white trooper that's sitting over there. It's like a jump trooper.
So I did notice that when I walked over there a minute ago. And it's like a pearl to it.
That one, yeah.
So it's going to stand out like a sore thumb against the rest of your white troopers. So.
Correct.
Get them all pearlized now.
But that was the. I don't think the standard one is out yet.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll take a look. So yeah, that was pretty much it.
That's cool that you could get it all in one fell swoop.
All one fell swoop. And like, it was the first time I'd bought something out. Like it felt good. Like it was a good fucking day. Let's see what else. There was a couple other things I wanted to talk about briefly. One was I have everything done for TFCon.
Nice.
Like I'm so ahead of the curve, with the exception of that. But that's pretty much out of my hands at this point.
All your merchandise done, all your drawings done, everything's done.
Yep, I did a third book.
Nice.
Yeah, and I have some like I tell the Moss Toys story in it. And I have some screenshots in there. And,
Ooh!
And there's a lot of little drama for your mama.
Buddy.
Nice.
But I wrote that. I did all of it. Like we have all the merch. We have we're so far ahead of the game in that regard.
Nice.
Halloween costume prep we've been working on. I think we're pretty much ready.
Well, you don't have a whole lot of time to make that decision.
Yeah. We ordered our prizes yesterday, except for one, which I got to go out and look for tomorrow. And I watched Return of the Jedi. With the kids. So yesterday I had a pretty good day.
Special edition?
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know how I would watch the non-special edition now.
I have on Blu-ray the despecialized edition.
Oh, really?
Wow.
It's a fan cut.
Oh, okay.
See, I want like a...
I think it's kind of a balance, to be honest.
That's what I want. I want to choose your own
I'll bring them
special edition.
Next time I'm rummaging through my archives of ancient technology, I'll look for the Blu-ray. I actually won them in a contest a long time ago. But I'll bring them by and let you check them out.
So
Or
I
watch them together or something.
I'd love to. So I was.
Yeah, we still haven't gone. Somewhere, well, you guys got a Halloween party this weekend. I was thinking it's
could
getting
too.
time. It's getting time to
You
hang
can
out
have a
again.
Halloween party too if you want to. It's not an exclusive party. Don't make it sound like it's an exclusive party.
No, I was invited.
Yeah, never.
Well, it is exclusive. It's invite only.
Yes, but not.
But I'm
but
invited.
you're not excluded. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be weird if he wasn't invited? Sorry, head count. It's a reduction in friend force and
And you're looking out your back door. I'm looking at my back door. I just closed the drapes. So I was real quick. I had a discussion that I recorded with Andy, who's been helping me with my Force Friday stuff, like gathering all. Like, he's been a huge help.
Unpaid intern.
Yeah, and Tyler L.
You better send him a shirt or something.
I know. Tyler the Collector. We sat down via Skype and had a discussion, since I can't talk to you guys about it, about the leaks of episode 9. It's about 2 hours. My initial plan was to have it like an hour and just tag it on to a short episode of Nerd Rage, but this fucking thing ended up being 2 hours.
Wow.
And I was like, there's no way I'm going to have a 1 hour Nerd Rage show. That shit's just not in the cards.
Not with the three of us.
Correct.
I mean, we're 45 in and we're just doing nerd.
Correct.
Only two people's no reason.
Yeah. So I was like, so anyway, I put it up on Patreon Friday, and I'm going to publish it this coming Sunday.
I like how the discussion on possible spoilers is as long as the actual movie's going to be.
Yeah, well, it's because it's pretty much the whole plot. So I mean, we had to talk about the whole plot, and then we had a half hour of like general discussion, and like the discussion part of it is so fucking good. Like just sharing our views about him, like what is the message of the sequel trilogy and all this stuff. Like it was a really, really good discussion. So I advise everybody to listen to that when it comes out next Sunday. And then so I watched Return of the Jedi and enjoyed it. We had a good day yesterday with the kids and had pizza and Return of the Jedi.
Selena? Yeah, I didn't ask. I assume she's sick.
Yeah, so she was sick yesterday, and I was like, well, let's put it off. We'll have pizza and Star Wars another night. And she was like, I love pizza and Star Wars. I was like, okay, we'll do it. But she didn't eat a slice. But she's
that's bad. You don't eat pizza.
Yeah,
That's bad.
Yeah, she's on the mend though. Anyway, so I was watching it, and as I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, if this thing came out today, people would fucking hate it. And I started to come up with all of these little things, like people would zero in on this, and people would zero in on this, and people would zero in on this. So I'm going to do a video at some point of what if Return of the Jedi came out today.
Are you going to talking about it specifically in regards of it being a Star Wars movie or movies in general?
Star Wars movie.
Okay, because I want to say like a lot of movies,
Like, oh, she happens to be his sister? Oh, isn't that just fucking convenient?
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much to it that I was like, oh my God, they would fucking kill this today.
yeah. But I mean, we have different. It's hard, right? Because when you're kids or when you're younger or something from the past and you've already consumed it, it stays with you with that mindset. So
Right.
you don't see it in today's lens. But a lot of things that were good or are good, considered good, released today, if it was never released, would not be accepted.
Well, that's kind of the one of the arguments I've been pushing over the past year is that Star Wars is for the children's generation.
Every iteration of Star Wars.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you like different iterations, you consider yourself fortunate because it's for the children of that generation. So we all like the original trilogy because we grew up with it. Less of us like the prequel trilogy because we didn't grow up with it, and I feel like less of us like the sequel trilogy because we even were further removed.
Do you think there's you think there's less people that like the new trilogy than prequels?
in our age bracket?
Really? It's a pure question because I wouldn't think so.
In our age bracket, like I feel like
Aren't they doing better in the theaters than the prequels are?
yeah, but see, because much like the same thing, people of our age forget that there's any other type of people that exist, but the kids are still going to see movies.
I mean, but kids were still seeing movies in the prequels, but there's less of them.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's still more people overall watching these movies, so it must be.
But there's also like ticket prices in flux and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how much that.
Yeah, because when you watch comparisons online, when you look up box office, they do the inflation correction shit or whatever. But I don't know.
But all of us are going to see it.
Yeah. Oh, you just don't like it. You're just gonna go see it and talk shit about it.
Right. So anyway, I just found that interesting because I was like, man, they would kill this. They would kill this today. Like, oh, who is this emperor Oh, he's coming out of nowhere. Oh, Force lightning, huh? I guess we just got a new power out of nowhere. You know,
no backstory. He just fucking dies.
No backstory. Oh,
he just shows up and
what
dies.
a waste of a character. You know, like, dude, it was just. I was like, holy fuck. You know, so I'm thinking about doing a series of videos like, what if Star Wars came out today? What if Empire came out today?
I think that would do well for you.
Yeah.
I think maybe also like depends on how. Maybe I just guess.
And wait, real quick, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna let you finish. But when I do the video, I'm gonna talk as if it did.
Dropped it.
Yeah, and I'm the person mad about it. So the whole thing, I'm just gonna shit on it for like, you know.
You should write a script for Gary.
Yeah, because he saw them when he was a little bit older, and he hates Return of the Jedi. You know, and I'm like, I get it.
I mean, the teddy bears.
I get it. He hates the teddy bears. I don't
hate them, but they're not good.
I don't think he's crazy about the brother sister thing. Like, he has a lot of issues with it. You know, he doesn't like Jabba's palace at all.
Really?
Yeah, he's just like, get the fuck out of here.
Does that mean he's not in the market for a diorama?
a lot of cheesy jokes.
They all had cheesy jokes.
Yeah, but this one has more.
Okay.
Yeah, I was noticing it myself. You know, but anyway, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, I'm thinking, and maybe I guess it's a proportion. The more you love the original trilogy, the less you love the more you dislike the other stuff. I'm thinking because like I'm not passionate, but I like it a lot, the original trilogy, and and I was able to like the prequels, okay, and I really like the new one.
Right.
But I'm finding that like hardcore original trilogy folks are the one who's hating more and more of the new stuff.
Yeah, and I find so
it's like proportional.
Agreed, and I also think that people that love the prequel trilogy, that love the prequel trilogy, they like the original trilogy a lot, but then they're a little standoffish with the sequel trilogy as well. You know, it's so like
I'm not standoffish about the new stuff, but I'm probably in that pocket because I enjoy the hell out of the prequels.
Right.
Yeah, there's parts of them. There's parts of it is bad.
Well, there's parts of all of it.
Yeah,
right.
But it's enjoyable.
Sure. And then there's the extremes where there's the people that hate all of it, and then there's the people that love all of it,
and the people who's really proud of they've never seen any, which is fine.
Right. And then there's people like my son's girlfriend has never seen and has no interest in ever seeing a Star Wars film,
which is fine.
It's a lot of to do with, you know, as you're coming up, you know, your parents are into stuff a little bit, and like my dad was always into sci-fi stuff, so it's a natural fit for me. If you're, you know, your dad's a red-blooded American that, you know, goes and watches high school football every Friday night, you're probably
nope. We're going to watch the first 10 minutes of Private Ryan for the next 2 hours.
Over.
That's right. We can sneak Forrest Gump in every third Sunday,
but. Well, go ahead.
No, and even in the nerd, broad spectrum wise, people lean towards sci-fi or fantasy. Some people just only do fantasy.
And I'm more on the fantasy scale. Yeah. I feel like, and I think that's pretty much it for my nerd week. I'm sure I'll think of something, but
the minor cases for me are delayed. It's going to be delayed. Brian hit me up. It's still going to be before the end of the year, but it's probably not going to be the end of this month because the riots in Hong Kong are fucking shipments of stuff up.
Nice.
And I'm worried about my family because there's a fucking war zone over there now. Yeah. Some kids getting shot. And
sucks, man.
But that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Fucking love America.
Yeah.
God bless USA.
And God bless Hechingers.
I can't believe you don't. I thought it was a national chain.
It might have been.
There's multiple. There was multiple Hechingers.
Yeah,
and they all turned into Home Depot. Like the Hechingers in Colombia turned into Home Depot.
Yeah.
It's Hechingers.
Hech. I don't even know how to fucking spell that shit.
Hechingers.
But it was a hardware store, like a hardware store?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like Blockbuster color. It's like blue and yellow.
Yeah, blue and white.
Blue and white, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were headquartered in Landover, Maryland.
Nope, there you go.
There you go. And I had almost caught up. I had actually the only thing I had left was Scarlett Johansson.
To review?
To review.
Oh, yeah, wait to put her up there.
And I have to. And then Force Friday came, so now I'm backed up again. So, but one day I hope to actually be caught up.
But, I mean, isn't it good? Because, like, a month ago, you were like, I'm just running out of things to review. I'm just doing fucking Legends and fucking Siege shit.
So, let me be clear. Transformers are still touch and go.
Yeah, but, yeah.
You know,
but you have stuff on the docket. You're not, like, running dry.
I have... Today I put out the Legends Insecticons, and I have another Legends review, I think, for next week. And then I have 4 dummy stuff in the bag, and I have this NYCC reveal stuff. So that's always like thank you God.
I need to buy something soon, man. Like I'm starting to feel not like down about it, but like, man, I haven't got anything in a while. It would be nice to have something new to play with.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hechingers was a local chain that expanded to 131 stores.
That's
and
a lot.
Good for them, man.
Couldn't keep up, and in the late 90s they closed them all. 99. So then we know about the rise and fall of a
I think that's going to be the title of this
home
episode.
improvement chain that I'd never heard of prior to now. Which now it makes sense why I would have never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, and Star Wars Episode 9 trailer is next Monday.
Is it really?
Yep, 14th.
So I will say
And
that from these new movies, and this is mainly because of Nerd Rage when I was a listener. This is the blindest I've gone into a new movie.
I know it's great, isn't it?
I'm
like
excited about it. I mean, I know very little about this story.
Yeah.
I mean, other than what I can piece together from the trailer, because I haven't, I remember, you guys and Anakin's a whale, a Force ghost whale or some shit. Wasn't it some rumor for?
So no.
It
There
was something crazy.
Yeah,
like
that she was going to fight the sea monster.
Yeah, and it was going to be Anakin as a sea monster.
Well, yeah, that came out later, but
Okay.
But the sea monster's in there.
Right.
Yeah, you can see it in the background. So
Yeah.
like I don't know what got cut from the thing, but like it seems like it was a thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a giant toad baby?
But episode 8, so that's this one.
Yeah.
That's the spider cricket monster thing. And that thing, the pig faced baby
Yes.
spider monster. Yes, that thing's in it. That thing's in it.
Okay. Now I'm ruined.
I'm looking forward to that, I guess.
But 8 is the one that was the hardest to crack.
Yeah.
7, everything was out. This one, everything is out. But 8 was like.
Is it because it's JJ?
That's my guess.
So do you think that
I think it's a bad robot issue.
You think he's got somebody on the inside of Bad Robot that's
I think he has multiple people on the inside of Bad Robot that are just chatty patties. But because 8, I didn't get to the bottom of 8 until the week of the release.
Do you think that? I mean, we're assuming it's something to do with the production company for 7 and 9. Do you think for 8 they put out a bunch of false flags just to see what bubbled up, so they could track down where the nonsense was? I mean, I remember like. I think it was a sequel to the Scream movie. Everybody had a different script except for their part, and if you read the whole thing, it was different. Everybody's was different. Some crazy shit like that.
But see, the problem is that not really anything was coming out from 8, so I think that most of the stuff that we got was just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like just people saying like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna get some clicks today."
Right.
The things that we had, we talked about it before, but the things that we had that ended up being legit: Praetorian Guard. We had way ahead of the curve. Porgs, we had way ahead of the curve.
Force Tree?
I remember
Force
both of those.
And the Force Tree on fire.
Yes,
we
that
had
was
that
the
too.
way in the beginning.
But
Because I remember you guys were like not having it.
The ancient Jedi text.
But so we were talking about pictures that were surfacing of Kylo on Octu. And he ends up being on Octu through the Force connection. But we were like, it's probably some fight between Kylo that sets the tree on fire. But it ended up not being that at all. But and then what was the other thing? There was a couple other things that we had. I can't remember. But it wasn't much. It wasn't much at all. And it was. But that shit, they just kept that shit tight. I think it's a bad robot issue because we didn't get this much for Rogue One. We didn't get this much for Solo. Like most of it they've kept pretty much under wraps. With 8 being the tightest.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Like they're keeping like the trailers and so late because they don't want to show anything, but then they fucking got all the spoilers out.
Right, but it isn't like you're opening the New York Times.
Correct.
You've got to dig for this shit.
So
it isn't on Front Street.
So here's the other thing I was going to say about spoilers. So like, and how like it doesn't really ruin stuff for me because it's a totally different experience. So like when I read the spoilers for episode 8, and spoilers for episode 8, by the way, it said Luke uses Force Ghost to fight First Order army and dies as a result.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? But then you see it and it's like, okay, so it's not untrue, but it's not right either,
I mean, you're saying like people getting spoiled that Darth Vader is Luke's father wouldn't have changed anything. It wouldn't have spoiled it for them if they didn't know walking in back then.
That one I don't know.
Or
that's a really big one though.
Or the kid that you ruined with telling him the Batman didn't die.
I think about that all the time.
So it does matter. Certain things matter.
It can.
Not the overall plot. It's like, oh, good guys go and fucking fight the bad guys.
So
you know what I mean?
Yes, I hear you, but like, I know Ray's lineage.
So I don't want to know that at all.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you do.
I'm saying I think it would maybe ruin it for some people,
but
because it's something to look forward to.
Maybe, but it doesn't.
You're also the one person who wants to know your presents before you open them anyway.
I like to sneak in.
This kid was masterful with the fucking
I used to take my dad's X-Acto knife and run it underneath the tape if I ever found one and try to open up just one corner to have a look.
Impatience.
Yeah,
that's Bobby's life.
Yeah, that's sure. All right, Chris. Let's get into the shit.
We'll start NYCC. I had the opportunity to help set up the Mezco booth, and that included the 2 displays that I built for them. One on the bottom of the Marvel and the DC cases. So that was an interesting
They look great, by the way.
Thank you. There was a lot of back and forth about, especially the DC one, about what's it supposed to be, how's it supposed to come across, what story are we telling, and originally I was building a backdrop piece to it. I was going to do kind of a...
Who were you building this for?
Mezco. Is that what we're doing now? We're doing that now?
We're still in the fucking soundboard, Bobby.
I know. I want to. I gotta talk to Manny about that. I heard that you can get a splitter.
Okay. I thought we were just gonna get a software program.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if the splitter won't be easier. Like if I could run 2 and I could run an app off my iPad.
Yeah. Just don't give it to Gary.
So anybody thinks that this was a cakewalk. I haven't done that much physical work in a very long time. We unloaded trucks and it was freakishly 90 degrees in New York City.
And you had to pay to get in.
Actually, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Because you said I thought you had to buy the tickets.
I did, but then they ended up giving us passes for Thursday.
Nice.
So what do you do with the tickets you bought?
I bought the insurance from StubHub when I bought the tickets, so I've just got to concoct a good story for StubHub, and I've given it to my wife because she's good at that stuff. Because I went on there.
That's cool that she's really good. She's really good at lying. Yeah, continue.
So that so it was just really neat seeing the
baby. All right. So I think it was the American Red Cross, but
manual labor.
Yes, real quick. When I was walking back, my baby said something unintelligible to me, like I couldn't make sense of it. It was like and I just gave her the white guy smile. I just went. So your wife's gonna lie to StubHub. Continue.
Right. So yeah, we ended up getting passes, which was cool to get in a little early. I was able to secure Bobby a couple Storm collectibles items, and it was cool to be able to hey, you mind if I stick my bag back here? So
yeah,
it's a really cool vibe of that company. They're so small, everybody kind of knows each other, and it was just good to build some relationships there. As far as the displays go, like they had a backdrop made like a city line. Which I think really set that one piece off.
That's helps a lot.
Yeah, and then they decided late in the day before the show, that they wanted to black out all behind them, which was something I suggested early on. So at 5:30, here I go to B&H Photo to buy a roll of paper, and me and John Attic, shout out to Dave for allowing me to crash at his house for this whole time. So we got that done and got back out. So I ate some good pizza a couple times.
For sure.
And Dave's family was gracious to feed me many times as well. So
did you did both, right? You did the Marvel and the DC, and that was the only displays that they had?
Right. So they didn't use any of the stuff from my SDCC. They wanted to kind of keep them separated.
Huh. So my other question is, which one, after they were both done, which did you prefer?
I prefer the Marvel one.
Huh.
The DC one was, and it's probably just because I had to change the DC one so many times, and it had gotten to the point on the Marvel one, like, I've got a week to do this. It's going to be done on Sunday, and I'm going to pack it up and take it because I don't have time to change anything. So we changed it a couple things as the process went along. This door needs to have some. And so I did the floor first, the cracked up floor, which took a very long time. And they said, well, if the floor's that beat up, we need to make sure the buildings are beat up. I'm like, oh, that's fine. So I'd already cut the panels out. So, I used heat and balled up aluminum foil to make the damage in that door. But I like them both. Don't get me wrong. But I think the Marvel one, I liked it better. I was given kind of a direction to go in the DC one, and I did basically exactly what they wanted, and it didn't. They didn't. I thought it was too dark, which I was like, underneath these lights, it's going completely different. And
so you want your displays different than you want your DC movies?
Not necessarily. I think they both came out impressively. I think it's just because the DC one is just such one color.
Yeah.
Which we tried to add some pops of color, it didn't quite work. But once you get the characters in there, all the colors and the characters really make it pop. And in the Marvel one, I had time to incorporate the holes. I drilled out the holes for the flight stands and the pegs, so it's all incorporated, which was I thought a really cool option for them to be able to pose. And D Amazing was there, and he came through and he posed all the figures.
I think it's cool because like sometimes like halfway through a con, you go up to the fucking display and half the figures are falling over. Yeah.
Well, that happened to them on some of their prototype stuff. So some of it fell over. It was just a neat process. The con itself on Thursday was, after being there 2 full days and kind of seeing everything come together, which it's a freaking war zone in there. You can hardly walk around because people have their stuff all the way out in the aisles, like Bandai and Bluefins. Oh my gosh, they had so much product there. Like on Thursday, I didn't even really. It was so crowded Thursday, I couldn't imagine what it was like on Saturday.
I'd say this. I liked the Marvel display better than I liked the DC display, but I like the DC diorama better than I like the Marvel diorama.
Okay.
I think that the Marvel one with the figures is kind of more fun to look at.
Sure.
But I think that standalone, and I think it's because I've seen you do storefront stuff before, and that this storefront kind of looks like diet storefront in comparison to some of the other storefronts.
Well, and I was,
which is, I'm sure,
I couldn't put.
Take it easy.
No, I just want to explain.
I just
want the customer was happy.
Yeah. I know.
That's not it. Like the awnings. I wanted to put either I don't put a name on it.
Right.
You need to make it as fancy plain, I guess.
But that's what I said. The first thing I said when I saw it, I was like, you need some text.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they let you do like a Mezco store?
I don't know.
They
just said they didn't want.
Or just Marvel even. Fucking
Fuck
whatever.
Them, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's how I was.
Because that's not how city fucking buildings look like.
Right.
Like it was missing like immediately when I looked at it.
Yeah.
But the taxi, the yellow taxi car into the building was a nice. I
couldn't like. I know I gave you the a critique, but I also didn't have an idea for you. The windshield not looking like.
Yeah. So
I couldn't figure because car windows they break very specifically into little pellets.
They do.
So you can't fucking do anything.
So you kind of had to fake it till you make it on that.
Yeah.
And, that car is a 1980s NASCAR toy.
Oh really?
That I have a horde of that size vehicles that I actually had sitting out behind my house where I do some painting outside. So I had to clean it, cut it in half. Like the back, if you look at the back deck, I did my best to like recreate the back deck and taillights off of like a Caprice, so it doesn't look like a NASCAR toy. And then I put some tampos on there with I tried to copy the NYCC logo and then put some numbering on it.
Yeah, it was effective.
I couldn't have told. Like I would have thought it was a taxi toy.
I did think.
And the wheels are off of a logging truck because that's all I could find. And he was like, I want that. I want a dumpster. I'm sorry, not a dumpster. I want a light pole and a fire hydrant. I'm like, I just happened to have it. Just kind of worked out. I just happened to have exactly what they wanted sitting around.
Yeah, I feel like you should just have a handful of hydrants and light pole just hang. my ball fondling hands,
right?
Like in bins because you're gonna use them anyway.
Well, I mean, I can 3D print stuff now too, and I was going to 3D print one, but I'm like, I have one sitting here. It was my Mold Master when I did the only thing I've ever
Master Mold is a Sentinel printing printer.
Right? Yeah, that was a Sentinel printing printer. Yeah.
But this funny thing that hydrant and that light pole is from a NBA playset that shout out to Harvey Dent. He found those at like an Ollie's kind of place for nothing and then sent them to me. I'm like, it's dumb luck I have this stuff.
That's awesome.
Yep. It was I did all that in about 3 weeks.
Let's talk about the Mezco reveals.
Yep.
What did you think of them?
So the reveals that you guys saw,
Oh boy.
Was
oh boy. Oh boy.
Was Mr. Freeze. And that the stuff that was new and
the peasant reveals. Yeah, I saw Mr. Freeze. He was actually great. I thought he looked fantastic.
He does.
I think he stole the show, which is ironic because he's Mr. Freeze.
Right.
You know?
So a couple cool things you can't even really see. It doesn't come up in pictures. Is his pants are quilted. They have like quilted panels, which is
warm. That's cool.
Yeah, obviously warm, but it looks impressive in person. They revealed the
Wonder Woman, 2 Wonder Womans.
Well, the one had been revealed already, but the classic Wonder Woman. Everybody was happy to see that because you're getting a pretty decent Justice League now.
I'll tell you I don't like the soft goods on the britches. It looks strange.
I'm anxious to get
it's like they curl around the crotch piece.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
So I'm anxious to see how that comes out in person as well. I think that's actually going to come out pretty quick. They actually had the box there and everything for that one. So I'm trying to think if
the Amazon Wonder Woman looked fantastic.
Yeah, that one looks good too. I'm trying to remember what else.
I don't feel like they had a whole lot.
They didn't have a whole lot of reveals, so they had.
But nobody did.
Right.
Nobody did. I don't know what happened, but like I guess people are like, you know what? First couple quarters have been good to us.
Let me look.
Fuck this fourth quarter.
Yeah,
we'll get them at NYCC.
Saving it for the
boys.
next fiscal year.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy. This was probably the most lackluster NYCC reveal show I've ever seen before.
So the Supreme Night Batman was the first time they had that at a show. This is they did,
and that
Batman
one looks
trilogy.
good. That one looks good.
Yeah, it feels like just from like the fact that like my feed is not inundated with pictures.
Yeah,
it's because usually after at a con, it's like
correct,
but it's not really much of anything.
Ironically,
statues. I see a lot of statues being.
Yeah, XM had a whole.
That Rogue looks fucking.
Most stuff was in prototype stages.
That Harley looks real good.
I gotta look through.
Even though I'm not, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's really it as far as new reveals. I mean, they had some new like. So like the Pennywise from It.
Which they've showed that before.
They have, and this may be a little bit behind the scenes. So I got to see the old prototype.
Special.
Well, no, I'm just saying I got to see the old prototype versus the new prototype, and like the way the legs have that crazy ribbon wrapped around them. It looks 100 times better now. You know, and just little stuff like that. Yeah, but as far as and they had all the Gomez stuff on display, which. And they've got the two Shadow Assassins that were only available in Asia that were there, which I'm like, all you're going to do this entire show is get answered questions about those.
I meant to ask you, and somebody wrote me and asked me about it, and I said I would ask you, and I forgot to. But to ask them about Star Wars, and I forgot to.
Yeah, I will. I mean, I don't. I would be surprised if they get that license. With
I don't think they can. But I would be curious if because I wonder if there's any difference in regard to the soft goods if it sets it into a different lane at all. Just because I feel like they get away with everything else.
So if you think about the companies that have dual, let's even just leaving the kind of sidebar pieces out of it. If you look at the companies that just have dual licensing right now,
Marvel,
right? Marvel, say Marvel and DC,
and
very few
Turtles.
Companies. Turtles are hoard out. I mean, I'm expecting Mezco Turtles any day now. Why not? So just saying, I mean, like Kotobukiya and companies like that, they're not producing action figures. So I don't know where the loophole is there.
I don't as far as it's got your own niche. It can't be something that's already done.
It's got to be, and they had I had never
7-inch figure.
Mezco does the Living Dead dolls line. They're literally dolls. With like they'll have a Freddy Krueger one, and they do a lot of horror-based stuff. I had never really seen that stuff, other than maybe in a box somewhere. But it was really the craftsmanship on that was impressive.
With as much like resurgence, it seems anyway, in product with like old horror icons, I don't see any fucking movies. I'm not sure why that people are not capitalizing on it. So many stuff is being remade. I feel like you could a high budget fucking Freddy or fucking Hellraiser or some shit would be nice.
Agreed. Could you pass me the white cord? We're getting ready to reach critical error. So what about Storm? What'd you think about their reveals? Sorry, I fucked that up for you, didn't I?
Just a bit.
My bad.
Tie a knot, why don't you?
Hey, you can't tie a lot. You can't tie a knot.
Let me actually breeze through those real quick because I'm gonna be honest. I saw so much; it's kind of hard to keep track of what was what. So
there were two there that to me were like, holy fuck, Raiden like Mortal Kombat 2 rated.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So this is Storm you're talking about?
Yeah. And what else was the other one? Injustice Superman looks fucking perfect.
He does look really good.
And Superman is a hard one to get right, I feel like.
So that costume
they get the face wrong.
That costume for him is just so that's Injustice. With
Yeah.
the collar. I don't personally like that costume, but they did a great job.
It's probably easy to get it right when it's a 3D rendered model versus
Yeah,
from a 2D drawing.
So
Looks really good.
Yeah,
the rating looks really good.
Oh God! So you were saying, I think that we can put this out there. If not, let me know and I'll go back and cut it out. But you were talking to a friend of ours who has connections with Storm.
Yes,
and he was saying how they don't like to do female.
Yeah.
To tell that story real quick, so we can.
No, well, it's basically it's two people apparently. From what this is secondhand information, obviously. It's two people that owns or runs Storm and the design and produce the figures, and the guy who designs stuff just like dude figures. It's very into
dude figures.
Yeah, because he's like a masculine guy, I guess. He's not into the chicks. He doesn't really care about the chicks, and he's doing them just because he has to.
Well, it shows in fucking their first Injustice releases. It's fucking Bane, Doomsday,
Yep.
and Darkseid.
And the
Lobo.
And Bane, Doomsday, Darkseid, and Lobo. Four all big beefcake dudes.
yeah,
Superman is the smallest dude they've done.
yeah, some kind of sexist or something. But like the female, was it Chun-Li? What did they do? They did one girl.
They did Chun-Li, Cammy. They done two.
It's because because Capcom put pressure on him. He's like, you got to make these chicks. So like that, he reluctantly put out the Chun-Li first.
So let me tell you, that's what I find most discouraging about Storm, because not only does Mortal Kombat have, but especially DC. DC probably has, in American pop culture, before I get myself in a trick bag with you, probably has the best designed and fleshed out female characters.
Okay.
Would you disagree?
Versus what?
Anything. Versus Marvel, versus Star Wars, versus anything. Anything in the West.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, the most popular female characters, the most well-known, the most iconic are probably DC characters.
Probably. I mean, yeah.
I mean, just
Wonder Marvel has popular ones, but I don't think they're on the same level as the really popular ones in DC.
At this point, Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman in that.
And it pretty much kills everything.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a ton of other characters.
And then you throw Poison Ivy into the mix, and you know what I mean, like Catwoman and
Enchantress. And you can go down.
So my
I don't think anyone knew about Enchantress before the movie.
I agree with that, but she's now part of kind of the ether,
kind of,
but nowhere near as in the echelon of people we just mentioned. But like, so my thing is that like Batgirl, Batwoman, like all that shit. But my thing is with that is that like, that's super fucking upsetting when you have a company that doesn't want to do female characters have the DC rights.
But they will. I mean, according to him, like they plan to do everything, all the characters,
really?
all the series they have, like all the Street Fighters, all the Mortal Kombat, the plan is to put them all out.
Wow.
What is part of what the companies are like? Here's your license, make these guys. So like obviously, at least Capcom is putting pressure on him to make the female figures. He's just not interested and is on the back burner. But it's not. I don't think it speaks to quality. I think it's just the female figures are just as good as the male figures.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he's great at making toys. Just don't want to touch the female body.
I think they're good at making toys. Like, and the only reason why I say that is because like when I get like that little stint there when Figuarts and Storm seem to be competing with each other.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the competition is really there anymore. It's like they kind of both built their own identities.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not going for the same
correct
look or the same series.
But I feel like at first they were like, "Oh, here's your Ryu, here's ours, here's ours." You know what I mean?
So there's a serious issue with the Storm line for Street Fighter. Scale is all the fucked up.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that what they look like?
So that's Ryu. Notice the pronunciation just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, we do it for Joe. Who were we with the other day? Somebody was like, oh, "I love Ryu."
Fucking Gary. You saw my face. I wasn't gonna go down that road with our guest.
So why would Akuma be that much taller than Ryu?
And Guile.
Yeah.
No. See, the three of the other Ryu is too small. The other three are right.
Right. So here's the one caveat. That is a Street Fighter V Ryu. But that Akuma is technically for Street Fighter V also.
No, that's not a Street Fighter V Akuma.
Is it not? It's
No,
Street Fighter
it's
2? Wait, because of the...
It's any other Street Fighter.
Because of the main, right?
Yeah, the hair is different.
So it came with both.
Oh, okay.
You could dress him up how you felt you thought it was.
Yeah, these are really big because I feel like the original line. I have this guy, the real like. I like that size.
So I've traded off almost all mine now. I've got
that's not right. If that's the,
that was a complaint. You know, somebody sent me that and said I don't fault you for selling your stuff.
So you can't get a cohesive line going when it looks like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's very strange.
So when I was looking
I
at
should
them,
ask him about that shit.
yeah. So when I was looking at them, you know, side by side in the course of a month, I'm looking at the Ryu from Figuarts. I'm looking at the Ryu from whatever. Both sculpted beautifully. I'd say the Storm is better painted. I'd also easily say that the Storm has a better presence, and not just because they're bigger, but because the proportions are bigger.
It looks like the game.
Correct. But when handling them both side by side, it's like it does the kind of experience of producing toys came through in the Bandai one every fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, of course, in Bandai, not only they've been doing shit for years, and they do so many figures more.
Right.
They have their own factory, I assume.
Yeah,
They're not
for
fucking
sure.
contracting out. They have their own QC.
Yeah.
So apparently one of those, I guess that newest Scorpion they put out is height wise completely off from everything else too. That's what Chuck was telling me. Oh. Yeah, so I don't know.
So I'm not getting. But you know what? It's a different game.
Exactly. That's what I said. Maybe it's a different.
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah. So they don't. You can't. That's smart because you can't use them as stand-ins. You have to either get
That's aggravating.
But you get it. You want to collect the Mortal Kombat 2, see the Mortal Kombat 2. You want the Mortal Kombat 3, see the Mortal Kombat 3s.
That's aggravating.
You can't just stand them in. But I mean, from a business standpoint,
that may be what that is too. Then I don't know. But that equipment shouldn't be that big.
That's
because
upsetting.
like Guile is not Street Fighter 5 Guile either.
No, those. So yeah, there's Street Fighter 2 for Guile and Sagat.
So yeah, that's part of what it is.
Yeah,
different scale for different game.
That's upsetting.
I mean, it's upsetting, but I'm like smiling because it's just like fuck.
So, but what do you do when you turn off your fan base?
Yeah, I know.
So point of personal privilege. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I got into that line because, let's be honest, I like Street Fighter 2. I've never played Street Fighter 5. I might have played it once, but I don't know anything about it. I mean, I know these characters. So I started buying this stuff. And then you bring out, and they weren't without their problems. Like I had 3 different versions of Ryu at one point, and you look at it and like his foot, nothing breaks, but like the tolerances are fucked up. A leg falls off, the feet fall off. I tried to pose a picture with Ryu, and it took me an hour because it wouldn't hold together. It was crazy. That aside, you know, aesthetically, I like the way they looked, but damn, now you're making them off the game I really am interested in. I kind of feel, you know,
I guess
you grab the license when you could, because I think the stuff that SH Figuarts are initially released was Street Fighter 5 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they've kind of wandered it a little bit into, is it 2 now?
I don't know enough.
Because they revealed some stuff this week.
Because the Street Fighter 5 stuff wasn't accurate to the game that SH Figuarts was releasing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of Figuarts, while we're on it, they showed their Sagat as well, which looks great.
It looks great.
And they have the M Bison, and they just put out the Vega.
Yeah.
So we get Balrog, and the bad guys are done for them.
Yeah.
You know, which is nice. Because I was thinking about, like, you know, I reached this plateau with my SH Figuarts Street Fighter stuff, and I was like, man, who else do I really want? I want.
You just want the 16, right?
Do you need
the original 8 World Warriors, the 4 new warriors, and the 4 bad guys.
Do you have T-Hawk come out yet?
No,
that's the 4 new.
Yeah, that's
part
the
of the 4 new warriors.
But I might throw in some of the girls from because they're sexy. Oh, yeah. You know, like
Poison and
I'll just put it out there. Yeah, and either one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Package or not?
Yeah, I don't care.
Ibuki, Saka, yeah, but Street Fighter has some high girls.
Yeah, for sure. So they like E Honda's missing, Guile's missing, Balrog is missing.
E Honda will be an interesting build.
Yeah,
when we get to that, because he's such just
rotund.
Yes, healthy gentleman.
Zangief. Who else? And then Fei Long, Thunderhawk. What his name? T-Hawk.
Fei Long has already got
DJ.
They've already got the Bruce Lee figure, so they can just swap the head.
Mike Tyson.
Not even, just repaint.
Mike Tyson, dude. Or was that Balrog?
That's Balrog.
That's Balrog.
I thought there was,
in America.
There is a different boxing dude, but that's not in Street Fighter.
Okay.
It's not in the Street Fighter you know.
Yeah. That you know.
Yeah.
He's a dapper gentleman. He's got suspenders and a mustache.
Oh, yes. I know you're talking about. Yep. See, I know you're talking about. But yeah, so if you cut out the 4 new warriors, which the only one I really care about is Cammy. You know,
that's all anyone really care about.
Yeah. So if you cut out them, it's pretty close to being done.
Yeah. and fast. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, there was a point I think where people were concerned that they weren't going to continue that long.
because fucking Bandai is known for.
Well, let's look at the Turtles. They did the Turtles. That's it. They showed a Shredder
They just
and
stopped.
then
They just stopped making stuff.
And who knows that they might have lost. Listen, guys, we can only have a license out to 12 people. Now you're number 13.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let. Yeah.
The only thing
bit
Storm
much.
had on them was that they were in Toys R Us, but Toys R Us is not around anymore. Remember, we were surprised as fuck.
Fig Wars
when we
got in
went
there
to
too.
Yeah.
Did they? Because I remember when we went to Toys R Us like a year or two ago.
Yeah, like a glass case.
Yeah. They
weird.
had a glass case. So they're
They
actually.
if they were ahead of the curve, they would have done better, in my opinion.
Yeah. You can actually get them at I think Barnes and Noble carries. Both of them.
Barnes & Noble carries a lot of anime shit.
Yeah, they have a lot. Like that little
Imports.
Gundam section has expanded a good bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
For them.
What about have you either of you seen the McFarlane Mortal Kombat stuff?
Sure.
Dog shit. It's
trash.
fucking dog shit. It's
trash.
the most terrible looking shit I've ever seen. It looks like it should be like in the Mega Bloks line. Like you build. It looks fucking.
Does the price point reflect that?
I
Probably
don't-
not.
Probably not.
They're
But
$25.
insane.
That's
And
insane.
now like I have
their
lost
retail.
all faith in their DC line.
So yeah,
Didn't there some of the DC stuff look? We see
They haven't
some
shown
haven't
any of
shown
it.
anything yet.
They've
What?
just they've
It was
just
something.
we
DC
saw this.
was out recently.
We
that
saw
looked
this
good.
weird Batman. It was like $100 that we thought was
Yeah,
fun,
that-
but
that
it
thing.
wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah,
know.
that-
Whatever
what
the fuck
happened
that
to
thing is.
yeah, that looked pretty cool.
I don't
But
even
not
know-
$100
I don't
cool.
even know what happened.
Not
to that
$100
thing.
cool, no. But now, I mean, Mafex is like running DC stuff that looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they're following like comic lines. So here's the Hush line. Here's the.
So I've ordered.
Yeah,
I've
me
ordered
too.
a lot of. So I've ordered the Hush Batman. I ordered the Dark Knight Returns Batman. I've ordered the Spider-Verse stuff that they're doing.
yeah, I hope
it
they.
looks good.
Yeah, I hope they can push forward with that. I think
Yeah.
they've lost the Star Wars license.
You think that have they not put anything out?
I don't think they put anything out after Rogue One.
So they're doing really good stuff with their Marvel comic stuff. Looks really good too. They've got
Yeah,
the
yeah, I agree.
Cyclops and a couple other cool Wolverine.
Venom. Did they do a Venom?
They did.
Yeah.
And, some people were complaining it wasn't quite big enough, but
Maybe.
that Spider-Man. I actually ordered the cell shaded version. It's a more of a comic book look. I just thought it looked cool.
I think Venom is kind of on the same line as Transformers. He's as big as you see him.
Yeah.
Because he can be huge.
He can literally change his shape as he feels.
Well, the other thing about Venom is that some people get him, some people hit him. Venom, some people just won't go with him.
That's never going to die.
That
Are
song
you going to
is
get the
thumbs
1/6
down.
Hakeem Phoenix Hot Toys when it comes out?
If they do one,
So there's
assuming they're gonna-
4 third parties doing it right now.
yeah, if they do one, I'll do it. But I'm not. We'll get into Joker in a minute here. But
We're just talking about toys. So
yeah,
I was
yeah, yeah,
wondering.
yeah, yeah. So if Hot Toys does one, I'd get it. And especially there's some variants. There's some variants to that Joker, and if they go especially one of two routes, I would 100,000 be in.
They can't get all the different accessories to make both in one box. You don't
It
think?
would have to be swap out heads.
If that's all it has to be, it's
It'd be
doable.
swap out heads for 2, and it'd be a whole different one for the third.
Yeah, so at least a swap out heads is doable.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that will still get some people to buy too, regardless.
Yeah, no, I agree. So Marvel Legends.
Yeah, and look, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even go look at any of that shit. I half-assed.
There wasn't much to
Well, I
see.
half-assed forgot, and then I was confused about where shit was, and I knew I would see pictures on the internet. So
They've almost got an X-Force done.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Like they got Sunspot coming and Warpath coming. So like they're pretty much just missing Siren and Feral.
The old team.
And the old team is done. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like 2 years ago, we had nothing.
they
and
pushed
like,
it up pretty quick.
They did it. So and they haven't even shown that whole wave. So I'm hoping that maybe there's even a few more that we slipped in there in the old back door, the proverbial back door, as it were.
They showed a new, more of a modern Fantastic Four they're bringing
Yeah,
out. That Doctor Doom that they've shown before, but
Yeah.
it looks
good.
great. It looks like
It looks
soft
good.
goods, but it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Black Series. They showed Wookiee, Chewie with 3PO in the basket.
Yeah.
Which is cool because I almost made a custom. Like I
Oh.
almost bought a second Chewbacca and another 3PO and was
Just
going to
to
take them
put it
apart
in.
and make a little satchel for them. But now I don't have to. They
Nice.
did it for me. And what else did they show from Black Series? IG-11, which is going to be a Best Buy exclusive.
Weird.
Okay.
Weird flex, but yeah.
So Best Buy actually, have you been into Best Buy lately? They actually have a toy section.
Oh, really?
People
Everyone
find
has to have toy section.
Toys
now.
R Us.
well, they find
Not only that, it's just popular now. Like toys and collectibles are. It's not a nerd thing. It's just a fucking thing now. People buy shit.
Yeah. So even the one here in Frederick has a toy section, and it's barren most of the time, and a lot of it's video game stuff. Fortnite figures, and things like that. But they'll have a case of Black Series, they'll have a case of Marvel Legends, Pops, of course.
Pops are the herpes of collecting.
Let me tell you,
like everybody's got one.
The longest line I saw on Thursday was
it's insane.
For Mezco. The second one was for Pops.
It's insane.
There was a lot of lines I wanted to say, what are you standing in? Because it wasn't clear what they were standing in.
Who was the longest line for?
Mezco.
Oh, okay, make sure.
That I saw. It was ridiculous.
And I think that like there's something about Pops. It's the accessibility of them. It's the fact that
it's cheap too.
It's cheap.
$10.
Well, that's what I mean by accessibility. Also, they're everywhere for sale, and they're also cheap.
Yep.
And then there's one for everything.
Yep.
So
small enough to where you can just have one on the TV.
You're like, oh, you love Garbage Pail Kids? Well, here's the 4 we have for that. It's like they have just something for everything.
They have fucking 40K ones.
Do they really?
They have Space Marines ones. Yes.
No shit.
Yes.
Yeah, they have pretty much gobbled up. And that's, I remember when I started podcasting, 5 years ago or whatever, weird flex. A lot of the question was, what's today's Beanie Babies? And I shit all over Pops for a long time. I'm like, that's garbage. The difference is the licensing. Beanie Babies never did, they did license stuff years later, but when that was at its peak, when eBay was basically invented to sell Beanie Babies, that was... it was the original character, so the licensing is what's got them. And my family, as a whole, has pretty much stopped pop collecting.
Really?
So Mason stopped.
That's crazy.
Was that the Space Marine stuff?
Yeah, they got one for each of the 4 popular factions.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So Mason's got some valuable stuff. He's got some that are $150, but he's got a whole bunch that go for $4.
Yes. Right.
So it's like law of averages. What you're going to have to do is like, hey, here's this lot. It's for nobody wants and
on a mattress.
Hopefully, I'm saving up to get a dirty mattress.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch that.
Dirty mattress.
Dirty.
So that's one of the problems I've been having with my phone. So the button that turns it on and off, like on all iPhones ever since forever, if you hold that button down, that's Siri now. So like
that makes sense.
So I have to learn how to let it go quicker because my whole life of using smartphones, I've been holding it a certain way.
Yeah.
Anyway, then Transformer showed a bunch of shit that we're going to talk about on different platforms, and none of us are interested in anyway.
If you want a deep dive of this entire thing, I enter the realm on the Realm Collectors YouTube tonight. We'll be going through a lot of pictures.
I'm sure Deluxe will tell you, and he sells shirts.
I'm hoping
too.
that we can skip it. Yeah, he does sell shirts, but I'm hoping that we can skip it
on what
on Shattercast because it's episode 300 this week. So I'm hoping we can just let the news go.
Okay.
I don't know how.
But there's some big news though.
Yeah. So that thing got funded.
So
sketchy as fuck, dude.
I told you it's gonna be sketchy.
I saw it in person. And it is impressive in person.
That's the thing you would want to see.
It won't fit in a detail.
No.
But
that's the kind of stuff that's important for a review.
If I bought one, but it wasn't for me. It went to somebody else. But if I was going to display that, it would be in planet mode. There's no doubt. I would not display that bag of chips. So you can display planet mode, and apparently you can display the head separately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Take the head off on a new stand.
On a stand. Or
I have
something,
to see.
yeah.
I have to see how it displays because I have the perfect spot for it. So
either way,
yeah, it fits on top of that glass case. I've already measured it out.
Are you sure you don't want to hang the planet on wires?
I don't think you would hang that on. No, I wouldn't hang that thing.
So it looks like it's floating?
No.
Yeah,
it has a stand.
And they had
shout out to Adam.
Yeah.
They had the display for that was it was cool because you could it was double sided, so you could get behind it and take a picture of the bag of chips.
But I don't
they had
mind
a little thing of ranch right beside it. Like
I don't mind it. I really don't. Like I don't mind the bag of chips. Like to me, it makes it like I would have been good either way. But it doesn't bother me because it adds to the girth, so to speak, of the leg proportions and makes it seem more intimidating to me.
I mean, I like the silhouette of it, but the look of it is not great.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Especially after we saw Zeta. Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like in person from behind.
Yeah, so you won't have to worry about that. I won't have to worry about that because I won't have glass on the other side.
Right, you don't
mirror
it from behind. But I mean, the planet mode is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
how big it is.
Yeah,
It's got
I feel like for you, Pinkerton, You can 3D print one just as big, and it will look the same,
Right.
For like fucking $20.
Right.
That's a problem. Spending $600 on a planet mode is bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
You're probably close to right. They did have a cool display set up. DC did. It was all the Birds of Prey costumes.
Oh, nice. Speaking of which, did you see the trailer?
I did see the trailer.
What'd you think of it?
I'm interested.
I don't hate it, but I don't understand it either. I couldn't make any sense of it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the ad that they're putting out, and it's basically look. They know Harley Quinn's going to drive people to see this, so they're marketing it that way. She may not even have that big a role in the movie. It is pretty cool that Ewan McGregor's apparently Black Mask in the movie.
Yeah,
which is a character I need to learn more about. I don't know a ton about Black Mask. Do you have something that's?
Yeah,
Black
it's like
Mask
the Red
heavy?
Skull, except it's Black Mask.
all the War Drums ones, War Drums through War Crimes, and they're in order.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's great.
I'll grab the first two.
It's fantastic
Because as I'll cover in a minute, I need some material.
Yeah, and it's classic. It's like it's very, very good. It's probably the definitive Black Mask story, in my opinion.
Right on. I did get the Mezco.
What was it?
Mezco exclusives, which was the Black Mask and completely matte black Sovereign Knight Batman 2-pack, and then the Gomez Spec Ops that came in a really cool, like old school lunchbox, like the old flip top.
Oh, yeah.
And
tin.
Tin. And the way they packed this shit in there is insane. It's crazy how much stuff they put. A ton of accessories in there. So
nice.
It was cool to get those, and not have to wait in line. But nonetheless, you got any more questions about?
No.
I just care about anime stuff. I'm sure you don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
A lot of assuming going on your side today, Joe. What people know and don't know about. I know about the boxer.
I didn't see a lot of cosplay.
I know about him. I like that.
I don't know.
I like that apple.
I don't know if there wasn't a lot of cosplay because it was Thursday, or if they're in like a completely separate section that doesn't. Some pictures I saw, from later on the show, it seemed like they were like somebody made a freaking. What's the suit Ripley wears at the end of Aliens with a claw?
Power loader?
Somebody had made a power loader suit.
Nice.
They had two like Space Marines with them. I don't know how exactly it worked, but it looked pretty impressive.
Before we get into Q&A,
hey, can I have the rest of my nerd week? Because I have a ton of
you're
other
right.
shit.
You're right.
I know we're an hour.
Bobby got what he wanted. He wanted to know his
No. I just moved into that.
I know we're an hour and a half.
No, I moved into that, and just don't let me forget because I didn't put it in the notes. I didn't link it in the notes.
Yeah.
I have one piece of Star Wars news.
A couple other things just real quick.
No. Take your time.
They did have
Take your time.
the full color sample of the Abe Sapien from Thousand Toys Hellboy series. It's coming out.
That's from
Like Sex for Water or whatever that movie was called.
Avatar.
Yeah, close.
It's all the same.
And like it's so hard. It's almost like the Sideshow booth. They don't want you to take pictures because of the reflections are so fucking bad. I tried to take pictures and I just got some fat girl's arm. So
The Hot Toys Mandalorian and IG-11. They look great.
They do look good, and they had the Diarugger set, which should be out literally any day now.
Nice. I'm good on that though.
Yeah, and I think that's it. We didn't spend a ton of time there Thursday. We were beat. I'd been 2 very, very long days between, taking the Long Island Railroad to get there and just, walking and unloading and, I'm not built for that anymore.
I hear you.
I'm a
old man.
I'm old and trash.
Shit's crazy these next couple weeks.
Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy run.
The exclusive Halloween party.
I got to figure out Baltimore. I want to go one day. I got to figure out what day that is.
Baltimore the following weekend.
And then
TFCon the following weekend.
And then Cody slides in at some point too.
Slides in your DMs.
I'm just going to do this backwards. So I finished Batman Damned, the book. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Okay.
It's not great. I know you said you were going to buy them. If you just want to borrow and read them at your leisure, please feel free.
Did you buy the trade?
I bought the trade, the hardbacks, yeah.
Okay, I'll take it.
I finished The Batman Who Laughs, which Raul warned me that there may be a lot of stuff I didn't understand because there's like a whole dark metal series that like is part of this. I'd say 80% of what was going on. There was some stuff that didn't make sense, but it is a very Elseworld story. I enjoyed it. I enjoy the art. I think is great in both of these. It's very stylized art. I watched Far From Home again. Holds up. I think it's fine. Charlie enjoyed it, especially the second half. The whole mysticism thing. Oh, real quick on Mysterio, the Hot Toys, the seam on the helmet is even worse in person.
Oh, really?
It's fucking trash.
That's a bummer.
It's really bad.
But we have to go back and watch that movie.
Yeah, to see it.
I watched it and I paid attention. There's no seam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's that then.
Because you can cast. I mean, it's harder, but you can cast a bowl like that without a seam.
You can, and I don't understand what the problem is. I mean,
It's because it has to be a 3-part mold.
I guess I don't know. They need to fix that. I really think that's the first thing I've seen in a Hot Toys preview release that's like that does not look right in a long time. That I've been able to just say that does not look right.
Not okay.
I watched Batman Returns. I actually took your advice and set up my laptop in my workshop and watched the movies, which is awful because I have so many lights in there and the glare's trash. But
I mean, you should be working on something just to listen.
I know. Anyway. That's pretty much what it is. But that's a movie I don't think that would get made today. It's very sexist.
I mean, there's a lot of movies back in the day.
I mean, this one. I mean, even that is like Pigwin's such a creep. I mean, he's such a creep. And I don't
show
know.
her my French flipper trick.
Yeah, a couple questions. How did those fucking penguins get down there? And how are they living? Does that ever explain?
Mm-mm.
They swim there, bruh.
Yeah.
But it's not cold all year in Gotham.
Well, they didn't need them all year.
I guess you're right. They just needed the
Some
Christmas
penguins don't live in the cold. Isn't there like the ones that live in South America? With the big eyebrows?
Yeah, but that's not what these are.
Right? They're cool in the warm.
But it wasn't them.
No.
So
they're like emperor penguins.
I watched Mad Max, the new one,
Fury
Road, and I didn't realize until I was about 10 minutes into it that it's the noir version in black and white, which it comes across great. Yeah,
it's a good movie.
I've seen it before. I didn't quite finish it, but it was something I'd put on. I don't know. I got sidetracked and then forgot I didn't finish it.
So I've gotten into that habit of saying facts with other things. So like, instead of saying like, that's a fact, I say, oh, fax machine or like fax Kellerman. And I always go to Mad Facts, but I have to put in Fury Road so if somebody's not thinking I'm saying Mad Facts seriously.
Right. Mad Max, yeah.
So I say Mad Facts Fury Road.
Yeah. But I thought that's a very good movie too. And I didn't realize it till...
I want more.
Yeah, I do too.
That world is fucking great.
Yeah, it's good.
I watched I didn't put it in here. I watched Dark Phoenix.
How was it?
I didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't. I thought it was...
I'm not watching John Wick now. I'm out.
No, I mean, it was... I thought it was tolerable. It's
Is it better than Apocalypse?
Yes. I think it's better than Apocalypse. It's got some corny lines in there, but I think it drives...
Is it better than X-Men 3, Last Stand?
I think it is. I think it's worth a watch.
Okay. I gotta see it anyway. I just keep forgetting to buy it.
I forgot to put it in my
I still
notes
haven't seen
here.
Hush.
You're not gonna like it because it's so different than the book. They've shoehorned it into their current kind of universe for that. Like Damian Wayne's in it and stuff.
Right.
I rewatched. Well, I listened to Justice League, the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I had it on. I had it on while I was painting and stuff. So
that's a rough one, dude.
Maybe it's because I wasn't really paying attention. It was a fun romp.
Dude, that's a rough one.
But the one part I can't get over is my man.
the part, you know what? Hey, surfs up. The one part that always causes me the most like cringe moment is when Batman's like, I didn't not like you. Or that part where like Superman's like, you don't like anybody. You didn't like me. I didn't not like you. Like, I'm just like, what is this?
My favorite line in that movie is Jeremy Irons is Alfred, which I'm not super crazy about him in that role, but he says, you remember when the biggest threat we faced was penguins with bombs strapped to them?
Yeah, that was
I'm
cool.
Like, oh, that's so good. And I just watched Batman Returns, so I'm like, it works out.
I love that montage scene. The everybody knows.
It's a montage.
You know, like where like they show what life is like with Superman being dead in that universe.
Yeah.
Like, did you see that movie? Did you ever see it?
So that's the opening.
It's like the opening bit.
So I noticed something about that movie. Mm-hmm. The opening scene is like some kids with camera phones talking to Superman.
Right.
And I never noticed that is one of those reshoot. It's fucking trash. And I never noticed how bad it was. It's like, what is going on with your chin, dude? It's like your chin is like got its own mind over here. Can you guys not line this shit up?
Wait, I want to talk more about Justice League for a minute. That montage scene that everybody knows, and they had that bum outside holding the sign that's like, I tried, but it's supposed to be like a metaphor for Snyder, the whole bit with the Wonder Woman, the Justice League versus Superman fight. That part is still fucking awesome.
Yeah,
a lot of the whole Amazon hot potato part is fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's some really good scenes in there. It just doesn't tie together well.
The flashback scene with the Green Lantern and when they all like that part's fucking awesome. It's like I hate to say it, but like it's the Snyder stuff. It's the Snyder stuff that's still awesome.
I wonder if we'll ever get to see that.
I don't think so. Or maybe 25th year anniversary or some shit like that. But
so I do have two more things building up to Joker, but I want to mention these before we do that. So I watched 2 documentaries on Netflix. One of them is a documentary. It's 3 episodes. It's a limited series. It's called Inside Bill's Brain: Decoding Bill Gates.
I saw it on.
Wow,
Recommended.
I saw it as
what an interesting fucking dude.
Yeah.
I mean he reminds me of my dad in his later years, like compared to just the way he processes information. I mean, he carries to this day a tote bag, like something you'd get at a conference with books in it. Not you'd think he would be the
laptop guy.
Kindle guy.
Yeah.
No, he's got fucking books. And like once a year, he goes to this house they have on an island. It's just him, and dude pounds Diet Cokes like constantly, and he reads. And just you watch his eyes reading, and I mean I'm a really fast reader, and my dad is a super fast reader. But this dude's eyes are like, I mean, it's like, how are you processing this information?
It's like those commercials back in the day when they would teach you how to read.
Yeah, yeah,
The guy's just flipping pages. I'm like, I'm reading all this.
yeah. That I never believe that. I mean,
Yeah.
I
No, obviously this
I
commercial.
mean, a lot of people can just. I mean, when I read, I don't read the dog went to the park. I look at this. I process the sentence. And I don't know how everybody else's minds work. If
I think I got the dog went to the park.
Yeah.
I think
but I miss stuff like directions for. I'm waiting on somebody to press a button here. Directions for mezco. I did something wrong because I thought I'd read a message and I went back and I'm like, okay, I wasn't supposed to paint that door black, but it's black now, hopefully, and it ended up being fine. But it's just like I catch myself, all right, I got it, and moving on.
But you know, when I'm reading novels, I don't read all of the she said, she replied, like my mind skips all that. And I think it's because I mostly started.
She? Is that why? She?
I mostly started reading. I mean, the first 10 years of my reading life was comics.
Comic books, yeah.
So like I can.
It flows perfectly fine.
Correct.
Without needing to tell who's
Correct.
speaking what.
So the point of this documentary, it was a lot about him, but it was what he's been doing while when he stepped down from being the CEO.
After retiring, yeah.
He has essentially eradicated polio in the world. He almost had it down, and then and forgive my pronunciation here. It's the basically terrorist organization that's in Africa. It's a Boko. You know what I'm talking about? Either of you? I mean, they go in these villages and like, okay, you're old enough to fight. You're old enough
I know
to fuck.
of it. I don't know
We're
the
killing
name.
everybody
Yeah.
else. That's basically it. That like really messed up the whole track that they had for this, and they were using like hand drawn maps of these third world countries to try to find all these villages to eradicate polio. Well, they got it down to like less than like 2% or something crazy like that. Same thing with there was a huge amount of children in undeveloped countries every year dying of diarrhea because they're dumping their waste, their human waste, in their freaking water that they're playing in.
Tell Sasa. She can't find the clicker.
Oh my goodness. How adorable. Bill Gates could help you with that.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. We're doing the show a little earlier than normal, and as a result, we have different challenges.
So by the end of the episode it's about diarrhea essentially, and clean toilets, and the infrastructure they were talking about, like to go in one of these countries and set up an infrastructure is going to cost so much. I mean, unfathomable.
Yeah, from nothing, and you had to bring stuff there to build stuff.
So by the end, they have developed this machine that you bring your poop to. It uses that as fuel, pulls the water out of the human waste, drinkable from their water, and burns the waste to fuel the machine. It's self-sustaining.
That's crazy.
So they can drop these things in, and there's all this there's all these crazy toilets that he wasn't getting a lot of traction asking people to help him, so he made a contest. Make me a toilet that doesn't require water or power. And there was just all this crazy stuff that these people have come up with.
And this is great, but like, I mean, I would love to see shit like this apply to like the rest of us. I think it would be
Sure.
great. It's renewable, like efficient shit like that.
Absolutely. But at the same time, our
Did you say efficient shit?
our infant mortality rate isn't skyrocketing because
No, but I mean, in general, it's just good technology.
it is, and I think the fact that they're developing it for that kind of usage will lead to that technology coming to fruition for us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The other documentary I watched, and I want you guys to watch this. It's called Hello Privilege. It's me, Chelsea.
I saw it as a thing.
Okay, so it's Chelsea Handler talking about white privilege.
She's a comedian, right?
She's a comedian.
I thought she was a talk show host.
Well, yeah, she is.
Oh, okay.
She's done all sorts of stuff. So
Okay.
she grew up in New Jersey.
Jersey.
You can't put her in a hole, Joe. She can do many things. Multifaceted.
So she goes all over the country talking to people about white privilege. Does it exist? Do you think there's white privilege? She goes back to her boyfriend, her black boyfriend from high school, that she ran around, like he got arrested 3 or 4 times while they were together in the car for possession, and she always got let go. He just got done with a 14-year bid. She's, it's uncomfortable to watch, but I think we can have some good conversations about it. But I want you guys to watch this.
Okay.
And it's only like an hour and 10 minutes, so it's not a long documentary.
Okay. I'm down to watch it. I think there's privilege in general, though. Like, I think there's black privilege. I think there's white privilege. I think there's Asian privilege. I think there's Jewish privilege, and I think there's Christian privilege, and I think that everything has its own little bag of pluses and negatives.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay. Who do you think?
What is more? I think the difference is what is more helpful and what's more detrimental on a day-to-day life basis. Like being let go when you're arrested versus the guy next to you. It's a big difference.
For sure,
right?
For sure. And without watching this documentary, it's hard to comment on it. But I would try to. However, I think that class and culture play a big part in that as well. And
I mean, just money in general.
Well, I won't spoil this for anybody, but there's a guy they talk to who, it's a white guy. It's like, he's like, I've seen white privilege work against me. He's like, there was 3 of us on the same charge, standing in front of a judge. One guy has a hotshot lawyer and gets off. Me, the white guy, and the black guy, we go do our time because we didn't have a hotshot lawyer. Now, if that's white privilege or if that's just daddy had money privilege.
Well, that's to me is a class privilege.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that line's been so blurred over the years. I don't know.
I had this. My supervisor's a black guy.
Okay.
And I had this conversation with him recently, and I was like, he was saying how if he walked through a white neighborhood, he was going to get all sorts of weird looks, as a thing. And I was like, I would be down to give that the Pepsi challenge because, for one, I think if I were to walk through a black neighborhood, I would get far more weird looks.
Yep.
And not only because of race, but also because of culture. Because if he was to walk through my neighborhood, you would see a black guy in cargo shorts and a Salt Life T-shirt and you know what I mean, and a visor cap maybe, and you know what I mean. Like the culture is not
holding a Yeti tumbler,
possibly, So like
with a white claw in it.
So like,
oh my god.
So but in his culture also speaks to his class. Like like he makes good money.
Yeah.
Whereas if I walk through a black neighborhood, I'm going to be dressed like me. I'm going to have a hoodie and a T-shirt and a pair of jeans and old man shoes, which is my uniform. So like I think I would take the Pepsi challenge of me walking through my neighborhood if I didn't live here versus him walking through my neighborhood and say, who do you think could get more looks? And it's more so about culture. That specific element, in my opinion, is more so about culture. If I feel like it has no. Okay, you gave me the.
No.
I mean, I'd really like for you guys to watch that.
I would like to watch
just get a black guy or girl here that can give their point of view. I think it'd be an interesting conversation.
Evan, hit up Evan. I'll hit up Evan and see what he can do next week.
Yeah.
Did you watch the R. Kelly one that was keep being suggested to me on Netflix?
So that's the same R. Kelly one that was on Lifetime. They've got that on Netflix.
That's
now. It's about
Yes. It's just moved over.
Yeah,
okay.
they've just moved it.
I guess it's licensed.
I watched a documentary, another one I just remembered. It's called Dope. it's just about drugs in general. And I was just flipping through. Well, there's one about Baltimore City.
Oh, even better.
And it was about the heroin epidemic in Baltimore City. So and this show's pretty interesting because they ride along with drug dealers with masks on their face and they're doing their voices or whatnot.
Right.
And then they ride along with the police. So it kind of gives you, and they're not necessarily working on the same point. So it isn't like they're filming both sides. But the thing that I found the most interesting about that is during the Freddie Gray riots in 2015, is that correct?
Something like that.
Something like that. The reason there's a fentanyl problem right now in this area is because so much fentanyl got stolen from pharmacies during the Freddie Gray riots. That's why people are dying of heroin overdoses the way they are, because they're putting that shit in heroin. But the drug dealer said, if somebody dies from an overdose, our business spikes. Because people are chasing that dragon.
Yeah,
and no, I could take that. I can take that.
And also, and then there's also people like I've seen this firsthand where they're like, "Oh, it killed Joe." Well, fuck, it's gonna fuck me up.
Yeah,
because Joe could take a licking. Yeah. So like, I've seen that. And also speaking about that, I spoke to a cop one time that had a very specialized. He was undercover cop in Philadelphia.
Okay,
and he was telling me about like their experience of tracking this heroin stuff. And he was like almost 99% of what they were tracking was coming from Mexico. And the information that they were getting was that because so much marijuana has been legalized or decriminalized in the States, that a lot of Mexican cartels have had to switch product and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right. So that is God's honest truth. So we took away their drug trade and they created a new one.
Yeah.
They created the heroin. It's readily available. And I didn't realize that it's $10. That's all these people are paying for. It's a pill, a little pill vial, and that's what they're getting their high off of.
There's something else I wanted to. Just to circle back real quick to the privilege conversation. There's a documentary that I saw on Netflix one time. I think it's called Defamation. It's these two Israeli guys, and they made this. Growing up in Israel, they kind of felt as though they were brought up in a culture where the world hated them. Like you had to fend for yourselves. So they made this documentary about it, and they went to this place in Crown Heights, which has a very mixed demographic of African American and Jewish American, and they had their own private police force, like the Jewish population there, and they ride around like a little golf cart. It's got like a little blue light on top. I mean, it's wild. And they were interviewing them. They're like, "Why do you think you need this?" And it's like, "Well, we live in a diverse community." And this one guy just finally breaks down. He's like, "Look, let's just have all of our cards on the table, all right? If a black guy sees me and another black guy walking down the street, who's he going to rob? He's going to rob me because he thinks I'm an easy target." So then they went to the black neighborhood and they asked them that same question. And all these guys like immediately were like, "You robbed the black guy." And they're like, "Well, that's not what we're hearing." "Well, why do you rob the black guy?" It's like, "Because you robbed the Jewish guys. A hate crimes, 5 extra years."
Yeah.
But that's Jewish privilege in that given scenario.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of things are a lot more case by case basis than they are these wide sweeping generalized layers.
America it's a huge country. I mean, it's just the land mass. So like you have pockets of communities.
Yeah.
So like we speak of America as a culture as a whole, but there is an overarching culture, but also subcultures are a very real thing. Even just this neighborhood versus the next neighborhood over.
Yeah. I mean, you go to like New York City and you're on the train and you may not hear English at all. You're going to hear all these other languages.
You're going to hear, "It's showtime!" And then the guy jumps up and starts doing whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Or the kids playing. I swear
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. What was that Disney movie that came out recently about? It was like the Day of the Dead and the kid could see.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, that kid and his family came on a train one time with a big Senate base and everything.
Look at, who was I just thinking about? Like, there's a guy. So I met this guy, and he's African. And he came from this, like, oh my goodness, like, you know what I mean? Like, impoverished, like, he probably was in that village that you were talking about, shitting in the bucket or whatever, and didn't drink it. Like, he was in a fucked up thing. Parents came, like, went through, like, the whole visa process, took years, finally got to America. He got here. He's been going to school on all these scholarships that have been set up for people. English is a second language. People who immigrate here, minority scholarships, et cetera, et cetera. Pretty much got to go to school for free, and then use that education. Just got a job, and the job is going to start him out paying $50,000 a year, fresh out of, you know what I mean, first generation immigrant.
Yeah.
Like, and his fucking past is more struggle than hopefully any of us will ever see in a million years. But the amount of privilege that he inherited coming here is substantial, and all go against the grain of what we consider to be privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, just like I said at the beginning of the show, when we talking about Hong Kong, I'm like, shit, I'm here. Like, I'm doing so much better now than I ever would have over there. And
yeah, I was sad. I just recently saw, because it seemed like things had calmed down a bit over there recently, and then now they're like back in, you know.
Yeah, it's bad.
I was sad.
It's so complicated, and people are like, oh, I hope it's going to end soon. But the problem is there is no resolution. There's zero. It's not like a multiple choice thing. It's like, if this happens, then this happens. If this happens, there's no choice. That's just the way things are. So like, you're fighting a lost cause on one side, and the other side is they're both fighting a lost cause. Like, the government wants people to just take things. It's just like, this is life now. Stop it. That's not going to happen. And the people want the government to change, which is not going to happen. So I don't know how things are. It's getting like the subway system I'm talking about. We have to shut down because like people got to stop riding, or there's no point in even having the subway system, which is the lifeblood of the city. I mean, imagine if New York City the fucking train shut down.
Right. That's crazy.
I have two more things.
Yeah.
I need to tell you guys, I did break a promise that I'd made to you this week, and I do apologize. But hopefully, no, it's not that. It's not that button. It's not that button. Hopefully, me quoting this one line will clear everything up. I'm looking over my shoulder when I say this. Permission to come aboard. I watched Aquaman this week.
Oh, did you? I thought you saw it. I thought you.
No, he didn't.
Remember, I was going to watch it when it came on Lifetime.
Oh, that's
TNT.
Okay.
So me and Dave watched it this week.
Uh-huh.
Y'all are out your fucking minds if you think that's a good movie.
Really?
That movie is trash.
Really?
It's like 7 movies jammed together. Let's get a little Indiana Jones, right? Go to the desert. Oh, and this looks like Avatar over here, where it's all glowy and shit. That was a fucking train wreck.
You hated it.
I don't hate anything. It was entertaining, but at a certain point, I looked at Dave. I was like, "We're just going to ride this out for laughs, right?" Because it opened up with that scene. He's on the submarine. He looks over his shoulder with this little smirk and says, "Permission to come aboard."
Yeah,
I'm ruined.
So I've said that the worst thing about that movie is him. I've been upfront about that. I don't think he's the right choice for Aquaman. I don't think he's a good actor. I think he's as terrible as The Rock. I think he's as terrible as Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
So like
Charismatic,
and I know you have.
but he has charisma.
Yep. He does have some charisma.
I wonder if it's a connection to lore. Because that movie does a lot for the mythos of that character.
Okay.
And
I could see that building, but it's just like there's this.
like seeing those
It's like a 7-layer salad, but if you don't like what's on the top, you might not get to the bacon.
it introduces 2 major villains, like his Joker and his Ra's al Ghul, basically.
So I will say the build for Black Manta, although Dave stopped the movie and he said he outlined the whole plot, that whole knife. He's like, his dad's gonna get killed and he's gonna blame Aquaman for it, and that's exactly what happened. It was so predictable.
Well, that's kind of in the comics.
Okay, well,
you know, like and then the other thing, like the whole the creatures from the abyss, like the deep sea, like all that shit. Like it's just like shit. Like if you were telling me that they were gonna make an Aquaman movie, I'd be like, well, damn, there's so much cool shit in Aquaman. There's no way they could show it all, and like they kind of showed it all. Like that is one movie in my head that I'm like, if I never get another Aquaman movie, I'm good, because I don't even know where you go from there.
Here's a question. So at the beginning of the movie, he's impenetrable, right? Like they can't. Bullets are bouncing off of him and all sorts of shit.
Okay.
Later in the movie, he gets stabbed with a knife. In fact, the knife of question.
Is that a magic knife?
But here's a real question: if your skin's impenetrable, how do you have tattoos?
Oh yeah. Well, look,
magic.
I'm not like.
Can you turn off? Can you be like, all right, let's turn it off. Let's turn off our magic skin.
Dude, I love the story with like his earth, like whatever you want to call it, like his land family versus his sea. Like,
Sure.
that's like another aspect of that character. It's like
he's just a simple man trying to make his way in the universe.
Correct. But they told like every important element of that character's story. It felt epic to me.
You know what was epic? That wig that Nicole Kidman was wearing at the end. Those gray dreads.
I don't.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised. I didn't know she was in it, and I was surprised that she would play like an older character because she's just notoriously like super vain to try to.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about her. That's unfortunate because I like her quite a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's my 2 cents. I mean, I'll watch it again. I'll probably watch it again, just maybe absorb a little more. And look, I don't know the lore. Mostly what I know about Aquaman is from like Super Friends. And my man,
you got
I
to
said
see,
my
you got,
man
you got
a
to see him
lot.
ride the shark and shit. Like it's just like everything. Like you got to see everything.
There was some cool stuff, like when he was a kid, he was at the aquarium, and
I love that.
you know, all that shit's cool. But just
The only thing I care about for that movie was the effects. I thought the effects were great.
Yeah.
I love the underwater effects they did.
Yeah.
I liked Dolph Lundgren.
And then to cap off my pretty heavy DC week, I took the wife out Saturday night. We went to a nice Mexican dinner and went and watched Joker.
So I would like to talk about that a bit. How comfortable are you with having this conversation?
Why wouldn't I be?
If it's like spoilery,
I'm not watching it.
ever?
Probably not. I haven't watched Justice League.
Oh, okay. Why this one? What was let's explore
No, it's just
that.
zero interest. It's like any other. It's not as particularly because it's a Joker movie thing. It's like, why didn't I watch The Notebook? Not interested.
Oh, okay. It's just like what I find there's something to dissect there because it's not like, you know, it's that kind of reminds me of what Gary said, like, well, Schindler's List was better than E.T. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about two totally
Trying to
different.
get you to say
Like whereas like you enjoy the genre generally.
But you know what? I wouldn't even put, other than it being called Joker and it's in Gotham City.
Well, I'm getting ready to go there.
Okay.
You enjoy the genre, right? Like generally,
Mostly, but I haven't even seen all the comic book movies.
right? But I mean, generally,
generally, yeah.
And
Obviously,
like crime movies. Do you like crime, like Goodfellas or Casino? Or
Not really.
Oh, you don't?
I've liked the ones I've seen. I love Casino and like I like Scarface. It's fine, but I would never have chosen to watch them if there weren't. If someone didn't sit me down to watch them. I don't care for. I don't know. I have a very limited palette, I guess, in what I like to spend my time on. I don't like villain movies in general.
Even if it's about the, even if
I don't like any mafia movies really. I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed the ones I watched because I had to watch them, but I would have never chosen to watch them.
well, so like here's the odd thing about that, right? That would be like me saying, like I don't like love stories, except for the ones I saw.
I guess.
Do you see how that sounds crazy? I don't like sodas, except for the ones I've drank.
Well, because I had to. Like if in comparison to it itself,
Right, but I guess at what point does it switch
like
over?
I don't really like them, but like I like them, I guess, because I watched them.
Well, no, just because you watch something doesn't mean you like it. I've watched plenty of shit that I'm like, I do not like that.
I didn't hate them. You know what I mean? I don't. How did I put this? If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't watch them. I think it would have been 2 hours spent better doing something else. But I had to watch them, so I might as well try to enjoy my time when I had to.
So you didn't like Casino?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I like them okay, like as in like I didn't hate it, and like my time was spent okay enough with whoever I was with at the time.
But like, what about like some of these horror movies?
What about them? Like what? Just give me an example. For
I don't know. I feel like horror movies are often centered around the bad guy. You know, and
They're
like
centered around the bad guy, but like, they're centered around fighting him, right? Or getting away from them.
well, I mean, I think that
It's not the life story of the bad guy. It's not you follow Jason around and see what he does.
well, I feel like if you look at like, for instance, if you look at like Nightmare on Elm Street, actually, I think that the first three Friday the 13th. Thank you for being my friend so far. I think that the first three Friday the 13th movies pretty much do center around Jason.
No, it's like Jason coming around and killing these kids.
No,
and
it explains.
At the end is a mom.
Yeah, but it explains his story. It's like the whole overarching story of those first three films is him.
I guess. I mean, they're all based around the same villain.
Right, but they explore his story, like what got him to this point, and the stuff with his mother. The first one wasn't him; it was his mom, and then it ends up being him. Like,
I think there's like not much story element to Jason, to like most of these characters. Once you find out the base story, like fucking Freddy diddle kids, and, you know, that's all there is to him.
The Freddy story is told over the first five films. Like, it takes all five films to explain his origins and kind of what he's about.
Oh, maybe guys, I didn't
Because you learn about his mother. His mother was raped and all this stuff, and like his mother.
And the insane asylum.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
It's curious, like
And it's a whole different genre.
well, it is a different genre, yeah. But like,
And you don't see me collecting all the
Well, we're not
toys
talking
of
about
the horror.
collecting, though.
I know, but how much I like something. You know what I mean?
Right, but I mean, like, I like Departed a lot. But, like, I don't want to own any Departed figures. You know what I mean? Like it's like...
If they made them.
No,
If
no.
Mayfix
no.
made this
Maybe Jack Nicholson, but it's more so about my love for Jack Nicholson than it is about Whitey Ford or whoever the fuck he was playing.
I thought that was Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
Cage.
He sang the blues one time, I heard.
But it was like Jack White, whatever his name was.
Whitey Bulger.
Jack White
Whitey
and Jack
Bulger.
Black.
But I do find it interesting, like, where these lines are drawn.
But especially like just lately, maybe in the last 6 months or so, like I just want to watch anime. I'm watching anime so much that like even Krista's like, let's take a break on anime. That's all I want to fucking watch now. I just want to watch different worlds with different themes and just fucking out of here shit.
Do you find yourself
Like I enjoy the fuck out of the volleyball anime. I watch more than I watch the Casino, by far.
Do you find yourself in being cyclical in that manner where like you'll feel? Do you think you'll be burnt out on anime, and you'll want to start?
No,
watching?
because it's an over the years thing. Like
Okay.
I slowly got out of comic book. I was thinking I was gonna get back into it, and it's been fucking like 7 years.
Yeah.
I don't care for comic books anymore.
Okay. That's fair.
I like to like them.
But didn't you like the Spider-Man movie? I thought you really liked it.
Yeah, I didn't say comic book movies. I said comic books.
Oh, okay.
I love comic book movies because they take away all the flaws of comic books for me. All my complaints of comics as a medium, the movies take away those.
Right, we are talking about a comic movie.
Yeah.
Just to remind the
Oh, you're
audience,
talking about the Joker.
we're talking about Joker.
We sidetracked. I forgot. But I don't watch all the comic books movies either. Like I said, I don't even watch all the main Marvel ones. I only watch Ant-Man 2 and then 1 because it was on and Krista wanted to watch it.
That's fucking wild.
If I want to do it all over again, if it wasn't Krista, I would never watch those movies. As much as I quote unquote enjoyed them.
So to answer your question, no, he doesn't care about spoilers.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
Like,
conversation.
He's just confused at where I stand.
Well, I'm not even confused. Like, I think it's something to dive into. Like, I feel like it's like finding out how those pieces fit together.
And it comes down to it, it's just preference. If you're interested in something or not.
No. No, and I understand preference. It's just like if I was like, sometimes it feels like it's like, oh, I really like Mortal Kombat. I really like Street Fighter. Like, have you checked out Virtua Fighter? Well, I'm not really into fighting games. Like, all right, well, I have to understand that. I have to understand how those pieces fit together. Or at least I think it's worthwhile exploring how those pieces fit together.
Because it's comic book movie. It breaks down into small and smaller pieces of why this is different than a Spider-Man movie. Why Joker and Spider-Man they're both quote unquote comic book movies, but they're not the same genre of movies when it comes down to it.
But Ant-Man isn't.
Ant-Man isn't what?
Like, there's not much difference between Spider-Man and Ant-Man.
Yeah, I just no interest in Ant-Man. Just like I have no interest in the Joker.
Right. Okay. For another day.
Yeah. It's a Joker movie.
What'd you think?
I really enjoyed it. Easy. Now, I know I hate even bringing numbers to the table.
And I guess potential
yeah,
spoiler
there's potential spoilers here. So I'm going to say 8.5 out of 10.
Can we do like letters, please? It's B plus.
A B plus.
Okay, there we go.
A B plus for me.
Yeah, I'll give it a B plus.
Definitely. And it may be after a second viewing, it may actually be an A. Yeah. I found very little flaw in this movie. Now taking off my
That's awesome.
comic book fan hat and letting them breathe a little bit, I think helped a lot.
So I think it's important
What's important?
to take off your comic book fan hat for
Yes.
that movie.
I thought.
Yes.
See, I thought that was what you were worried about. You wanted it to be a Joker movie. You didn't want it to be a clown movie.
I was. And at a certain point, I had to let it go. I started
So it is
seeing,
not a Joker movie then, right? It's a clown. It's like this guy who's called the Joker movie.
No, it's like some blend. It's like
Okay.
it's more like an Elseworlds.
So-
it's
so-
like
yeah.
what if Superman landed in Russia?
So there's enough of the Jokers in your characterization, in your opinion, that it didn't take you out of it.
There's enough raw ingredients.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was set in the early 80s, the best we're going to say.
Or late 70s, somewhere in that
Somewhere
pocket.
in that pocket. Well, they had VCRs. I don't know when
Oh, okay.
VCRs came
It's
into
in the
life
late 70s.
because he
They used the original Warner Brothers logo,
which was
which
great.
was nice.
It starts out like
the
it's
three
an old,
triangle lines.
It's an old school movie. So
cool.
It's centered around a garbage strike, which there was a New York City garbage strike that almost crippled the city. It was a 17-day strike in like 81. So it's that they're kind of trying to get that vibe.
People still talk shit about being a garbage man. It's crazy.
No, I mean, shit.
I agree.
That's a very valuable.
I mean, not only that, but I think like it usually comes with benefits and
Yeah,
there's
that's what parents say to the kids.
yeah.
You want to be a garbage man?
Yeah,
You grow
it's
up.
like,
It's like not a bad thing, man.
it's not a bad
Actually,
job.
if I can drive the truck and not be the guy on the outside,
It's even better.
I'm fine with that, and I'll get a nice pension and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's fucking great.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was very. The fact that they could take it and put it in that time period, but make it so poignant to the world we live in today, I thought was brilliant.
Cool.
And I don't think I've said that about a movie in a very long time. I thought that
It's very much a statement on the
mental-
class gap.
the class gap and mental health.
Yeah.
Because before you guys watched the movie, you even had a guess that might be what it's about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we had been fed some information that turned out to be, I'd say, 98% true. I mean, it was literally, I think somebody had watched it and commented back out. Obviously, this is a very fragile psyche we're dealing with, and I'm just going to put this out there. The laugh is basically a
Nervous tick,
almost a Tourette's kind of response, to the point where he can't control it. I mean, it's really heartbreaking. Like he cannot control his laughter,
And he has it if he's uncomfortable. He has it if he's in pain. Which which I mean, obviously you don't get to see it, but in my head it's like that's why he's laughing while Batman's beating the shit out of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you really think about the character as we know it, that he's a laughing constant. It's because it's a tick. But and there's he gets an opportunity to do stand up, which is what he wants to do, and he's got a book of horrible jokes to start with. But he gets up there and he can't stop laughing. It's really heartbreaking. It really is. And this poor guy, and
It's difficult to watch.
it is challenging
at
to
times.
watch.
Like
yeah.
you're like, oh my god, like Curb Your
You
Enthusiasm.
love that shit,
Yeah,
Bobby.
yeah.
You love it. Come on now, be honest.
But see, I like it when it's funny, and this wasn't. You know what I mean? Like I like it when I'm supposed to be laughing with them.
Yeah.
Like
There's not a laugh hat in this movie. I mean, it is very.
there's like one joke they get off. Like there's like one little beat of comic relief, and I can't remember where it is now. But like I meant to comment on it, but it's well done. It's like it's not like woo, 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 like it's not over the top. It's just like one little beat of they got a little bit of that tension. Yeah, and then back into the shit.
So the whole premise in the movie is his mom keeps writing these letters to Thomas Wayne that she had worked for a number of years ago. We're going to guess maybe 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. And the letters never come, and she's sick of some sort. They don't really go into it, but he's having to help her bathe and eat and things of that nature. And it comes out that he reads one of the letters that his mom's writing, and it's basically that it sounds, first of all, like she's batshit crazy, and she's claiming that Thomas Wayne is Arthur, the Joker's father.
Did you say batshit?
I probably should have. So, and that kind of sets off some events that continue down the line there. Bobby, do you think that, because it doesn't really tell you, do you think that she's batshit crazy?
Yes.
Or
No,
that
I think she's
the
crazy.
Wayne's actually...
I think she's crazy.
Okay.
And she's passing on some mental illness onto him.
I think there's a little bit of that.
And just growing up in that household.
Yeah,
probably.
both genetic and environmental
I
component.
think there's some Asperger's, very least ass sliders.
Yeah.
I think there's some Tourette's.
Yep.
I think there's some disassociative, delusional.
Well, we know that because
Correct.
the whole scene with the girl.
Girl.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That fucked me up a little bit.
See, I needed that because I was like, why? I was like, I don't buy this. Like,
Yeah,
the
why is
movie's
she
very
hanging out with
grounded, right? Like, it's a very believable world. It's a very
he's-
gritty, and you can smell the air.
And he's not an attractive man.
Yeah.
He's rail thin and gaunt, and and then
And then all of a sudden, he has this girlfriend, and she's kind of like there all the time, and
it's the girl the girl who plays Domino.
Okay.
Zazie
and it was.
Betts or
I'll
whatever
tell
it
you,
is.
like without the the eye patch and everything, she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's in the TV show Atlanta. I've seen her.
Oh,
in that,
okay,
which
yeah.
it's a good show. But yeah, so
You're watching it, and
yeah.
you're like, I don't believe this. Me personally, I was like, I don't buy this. This is a problem for me because I don't. Everything else seems 100% believable except for this. And then he was imagining the relationship.
So
the entire
what I
time.
kept thinking every time I see them together, where did the kid go?
Yeah,
Where's
yeah,
the kid?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
she's obviously a single mom. that was what are you doing in here? Don't you live down the hall with your mom?
Yeah.
That was kind of sketch. And I thought De Niro did a good job as Murray.
I didn't even know he was in it.
Yeah, he's like a
Talk show host.
He's a talk show host, comedian. He's kind of his Arthur the Joker's role model. He wants to be there. So basically, what happens is they make fun of his stand up on that show, and then they invite him to come on just to poke fun at him, really.
And they have a very Dark Knight Returns moment.
Yeah,
with the live recording and the talk.
Yeah, it kind of goes awry from there, but. It just the way everything happens, and it gets to the point at the end where he is the Joker. It's brilliantly written. The way like the masses create him, basically.
Yeah,
and it's just so well done.
So it's beautifully shot, and one of my favorite things about it is that like something I picked up on anyway is that like he always feels like he's in darkness, like he's never in the light. And the sun is shining, but he's always on the side of the building that the sun doesn't reach, or he's standing underneath an awning, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And one scene in particular, like the closest the sun gets to him, there's like a window pane between them, like he never actually.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that.
And then when he finally kind of accepts who he is, and that's the scene where he's like dancing down the steps in the trailer or whatever. The sun is just basking on him. You know what I mean? And it's like a character that you think of as a dark character, but being birthed in the light. It's an interesting kind of dichotomy. It's like a happy moment.
Yeah, he's free.
Yeah. I think that it's the cinematography is great. The directing is great. Joaquin's vegan accent comes through. No, his physical acting in that movie is brilliant.
I have a question.
I always thought he was a great actor.
Does he have some sort of does Joaquin have some sort of deformed rib cage, or is that something he's able to? I mean, because it looks like it's like fucked up.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think that he was so skinny. And I was watching this interview with him, and he was like, how much he had to starve himself.
Right, even more than usual.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the no tofu diet.
Just zero protein.
He cut back the lettuce. He was like the way he runs. It's just like very jokery and like reaching for something. Or
I did. Speaking of running, how hard would it be to run in clown shoes? Because he does it. I thought about that,
and I
think that's why his gait's fucked up.
Yes, and I think it leads to the believability of the run. Like it feels like the Joker when he runs. He
his big giant
feet.
Yeah, coming down the steps and the whole dance and all of that stuff. Like it's just his physical acting is so on the money. Trying to think about everything else. The connection between him and the Wayne family, I was worried about it. Loved it.
Yeah.
The like you said, the scene where he's kind of birthed by the people. He gives birth to the people, and then the people give birth to him.
Man, when his mouth's busted, his makeup's all fucked up. So he takes his fingers, puts it in his mouth, and just does this,
like
with
it wipes
blood.
the blood out, and it makes like the classic Joker smile.
So the one thing that's obviously a story change is the death of the Wayne family is portrayed in a different light than it normally is. Of course, there's the pearl snatch and
still nice.
You have to, you have to.
But the point of him being killed, it wasn't a robbery. It was a, hey, you're a rich guy, fuck you. And they killed him, and they killed her, and then left him live Bruce standing there.
So the I loved it, and I didn't think I was going to, but we didn't give it a 10, right?
Right.
Why?
I don't know that I can justify why I'm not giving it a 10. I think it's just hesitation because I want to see it again.
Okay, I know why.
Okay.
So the physical performance, dead on the money. However, and it's the one thing that ties me back to the conversation of it's Elseworlds Joker. It's his dialogue, his vocal performance never feels like the Joker to me, and he never looks like the Joker to me with that makeup the way it is. Like,
can you explain that away by being this is the first
Yeah, that's what I was going to
ever.
say. This is literally.
So it's not the Joker that you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard for me to see this character as the Joker with the way that he delivers the lines. There's one line, and it's the dialogue is right, but it's even his performance I don't quite buy, but it feels like the Joker to me. It's only one line. It's at the end of the movie, he's being interviewed by a nurse at Arkham, right, and talking about it, and he starts laughing, and she's like, "What's so funny?" And he like sits and gathers himself for a minute, and then he looks at her and is like, "You wouldn't get it."
Yeah.
That felt like the Joker to me. How awesome would it have been if he was fucking talking to Harleen Quinzel, though?
Right.
I feel like that's such a wasted opportunity. Like, especially if this is like a standalone thing and we're never going to visit this world again. Like, just to have had that beat in there, it would have, especially with that line to her, you wouldn't get it, and like she ends up getting it. That would have been fucking amazing. I loved Alfred in this movie. There's a scene where, the scene what he does to Bruce that
was that Alfred with the beard?
Yeah.
See, I didn't pick up that would have been Alfred. I thought it was some like security guy.
So the reason why I love that is because Bruce is out playing in the field of the manor and seemingly unsupervised, which is how Joker kind of gets to him and puts the smile on his face, and the person that's watching him is fucking Alfred. Like, even at that age.
So why do you know it's Alfred? I didn't pick up on that.
British accent and a butlery kind of outfit. Okay. But like, what about it was that what I loved is that he's the one that steps in and intervenes. Like, even then at that age, there's this disconnect between him and his parents, and Alfred is looking out for him. Like, even, you know what I mean? I love their dynamic kind of in every medium. Like we were talking about, like put him in the cup and it becomes the cup. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel like the Bruce Alfred dynamic is too. But yeah, that's my main issue with it is the vocal performance and the dialogue. I wish it had more of those you wouldn't get it moments for me to kind of walk away with. I don't think it'll have the same impact on pop culture as Ledger because of that.
Yeah.
And like, I think that this is a more intriguing Joker, whereas that's a more terrifying Joker. Is how I would probably categorize it.
That's fair.
But yeah, I definitely recommend. It's worth. It's much closer. It's much closer to what I've been saying to people. Because that's another thing. Raul commented on Patreon. He was like, I'm not getting this reaction at all. Like, people seem super into in-game around it. Like, I can't tell you. My experience to this, everybody's fucking asking me about this movie. The other day at work, I got a phone call to my work from a friend trying to find out. He's like, man, I lost your number. I knew you worked here. I looked it up on the internet so that I could call you and get your opinion on this movie. Like, I haven't experienced anything quite like this one with the normie population in quite some time. My experience has been 180 degrees from Raul's, apparently. But like, what I've been telling people is like a general, like, look, no spoilers, man, but is it good? I've been saying, look, it's a great movie. It's a very good Joker movie. I'm not sure it's a great Joker movie.
Yeah. I mean, my wife thoroughly enjoyed it too. I mean, I think that normies that don't keep up with the ins and outs of the comic book world can enjoy this for what it is, because it's very self-contained. There's no backstory you need.
It's easy to know anything.
It's digestible. It is. I mean, and look, I'm sure there's a ton of movies that I never even hear about that are super, hard to watch and stuff like that. But to bring that emotion to at the end of the day, 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Damn it. I'm trying not. Me and Dave came up with a whole list of those things, I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I'll think of one in a minute. It's still a comic book. It's a comic book franchise, right? So it's not a comic book movie per se.
It's got its adult glasses on,
right?
Which is like nice.
When the smoke clears. That was one.
But it's like it's. I've needed something like this for a while. I've needed something that's not so fantastic.
Tights and flights.
Yeah. But
it ends up being that eventually. But
yeah, but
it isn't today.
Even Man of Steel is a Tights and Flights movie, but it's not tights and flights in the same way that Endgame is tights and flights, that Homecoming is tights and flights. Like, I've needed something that feels like there's more to chew on than just what's on the surface.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. I definitely agree, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go see it again.
That article that Scorsese, has been going everywhere in our world, where he's like, and you can't blame the guy. If I was him, I'd probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
But like, where he's saying like it's not real cinema, it's fucking,
But he may be in meetings like, hey, what's up with this savage dragon? Can we make a movie out of that savage dragon?
One can
It's
hope.
like a dragon and he's a cop.
But
he's a cop. I can make it gritty, but he's a dragon. Can we do something with savage?
He's not quite a dragon. He's got a big fin on his head and he's green.
Can we get The Rock to play the savage dragon?
Perfect.
The Rock.
Perfect choice.
Dwayne Johnson.
But
Actually,
I know
that
what he
probably
means.
wouldn't be bad
I know
casting.
what he means. I disagree
I
with
didn't
him.
read the article. What? Give me the nickel tour.
Just that it's fluff.
Sure.
It's not real. Like, I think when he says to cinema to go in and have this like in his world, he doesn't understand that comic book people are so passionate about this and have those experiences. He's thinking about a quote unquote normie, what I mean? Walking in and digesting something that says something about society, or like says something philosophically or psychologically, or whatever the case may be. But what I say all that to say this is the type of movie that would make him change his mind.
You'd think. And the funniest thing I read, somebody put it in a comment, and I don't remember where, but it's The Departed is one of my favorite films of all time. I will say that to start with. But it says it's funny that a guy who won an Oscar for remaking a Japanese gangster movie 2 years after it came out and won an Oscar is complaining about comic book superheroes.
What movie? What is it?
The Departed is based on I believe it's a Japanese gangster movie that had come out like 2 years prior to him starting to film that.
Well, it's also based on that guy.
Generically, yeah.
Yeah.
But the story that's told is
because that's kind of the same. The Irishman is that guy too, right? Is it all the same guy?
I don't know.
I can't keep it
Waggy
straight.
Bulger.
But it's fucking great. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's a great Joker movie, but it's a great movie at the end of the day, and I think that's enough for me.
I mean, that should be enough.
I
movie
will
go
say
in general.
Yeah.
it is a we made these same kind of comparisons that Venom is a great monster movie.
Yeah.
We're not sure it's a great comic book Venom movie.
Right.
So I think this does a better job in that pocket than
I
Venom
agree.
does.
I agree. There's this one last thing I want to talk about is when there's these two guys from his work. One really wrongs him, and they come to check on him, and he kills the guy who really wronged him brutally, and then he lets the other guy go. And that felt like the Joker to me too.
So he has his he's done the white part of his makeup, and they're coming. You got a job today? No, just hanging out. So he kills the one guy, and like half of his face has blood smeared all over it, and the other half is fine. And the guy he lets go is a little person, and he's like, you can go. He can't reach the top lock, so he has to get up, and he's like, you were always nice. You were the only one that was always nice to me. And they came from like the clown, wherever clowns go to work, like to get jobs, they worked there. So that was interesting.
And that's about it for that. The one thing about then we have a Q&A, quick to get to, but
We had no news.
Birds of Prey.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah. Star Wars. There's a rumor circulating, and I will say this, it doesn't line up with any of my leaks, but my leaks aren't beat for beat. They're kind of like this wide sweeping, they go here, they do this, they go there, they do this.
Yeah, it's not like you got the script.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that Wedge Antilles is going to be in 9, which would be nice to see. That would be it for me.
Shoehorn everything in you can, yeah.
Well, I mean, like he's like the one that like made it through 4, 5, and 6. I like in my head, I'm like, where the fuck's he at? What's going on with Wedge?
The moisture farmer.
Did we already talk about Spider-Man being Marvel?
Last week.
Okay.
Yeah,
everything
Gary texted his son.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Right.
And I got my flower.
Last week was it? Yes. I think he. Listening back, I think he just didn't understand what that phrase means. Not that.
Who, Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and I meant to explain it, and I never got to it.
Right.
I got into the story, and I listened back, and I got the same. I had the same feeling. So we have One question from Paul C. A car just caught on fire outside of my wife's job.
Which, right there across the street?
Yeah. Crazy. Just send me
That
the
is
picture.
crazy.
All right. So he says, this might be another fun trip. What was the first cassette you owned?
Oh, I know.
What was the first one you bought, assuming it was different? It would be interesting to see which ones you wanted received as gifts and which ones you thought worthy of your hard-earned money. Same question applies for CDs and records, if that applies. Do you still have them physically in your collection? If not, do you still have them in songs and more updated format? He says, for me, the first tape I received as a gift was Ace of Base, The Sign, and the first I bought was Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, attaboy. The first CD I got as a gift was the Broadway cast recording of Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I have a feeling I'm going to wish Adam was still on the cast after saying that. And the first one I bought was U2 Achtung Baby. I don't know, U2. I don't have either of the originals anymore, but I did convert the CDs to MP3s many years ago, Paul C. Joe?
My first cassette, I never got music as a gift. No one ever bought me tapes or CD. I just bought it with my allowance or whatever. Unplugged in New York, Nirvana.
Okay.
That was my first cassette.
Classic.
And my first CD was Poe. P-O-E.
I'm familiar
chick.
with Poe.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Very sad that I love their
I don't-
music,
I don't
and then
think-
but like it was a record label thing that, and then she stopped making music.
You were hanging around enough white dudes when you were a teenager to
probably
know
true.
what Poe is.
Just Shane, really.
And
Let's see.
Shane listened to John B. all the time.
John B. Who says his name a lot? John B. Is it Monday, Tuesday?
Dude, he even looked
Making
like
Love by
John B. a
Wednesday?
little bit, you know, like
You have a tight fade,
yes.
little beard.
But he had more hair on top, but he definitely kept a tight fade. I remember one time I went to the barbershop with him and I was like, fucking 45 minutes? Mine's 15 tops. Couldn't believe it.
CDs?
Yeah,
Did you-
Poe
you said-
was my
you
first
said
CD.
CDs.
And Justice for All. Those are two I remember the first CDs I bought.
Just for us.
Oh gosh. I don't remember. I'm sure I got some. I actually, as a kid, I liked 50s and 60s music, like Big Bopper and things like that. I just thought it was entertaining. So I remember my parents had got me some tapes, and they had like 5 or 6 songs, but they had little stories about the people and the songs, and you know, Big Bopper and getting killed in the airplane crash and all that. The first one I remember buying was LL Cool J's "Walking Like a Panther."
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, and I bought the censored version because it was my parents, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to, get it.
Well, you remember they used to put the sticker on the cellophane.
Yes.
There was before they printed it, because nowadays when they did CDs, they printed it. It was part of the print of
Yes.
the cover. But initially it was just a sticker you had to
literally-
apply to the cellophane. So if you looked hard enough,
You could find one.
you could find one they hadn't put it on, or they'd put it on a little fucked up, and you could tear it off or whatever. And yeah,
Yeah, that was the first tape I remember buying. CDs. Oh man, it might have been NWA's Feel for Zaggin. Either that or maybe trying to remember, because there's a funny pocket there where it's like sometimes you might buy the tape just because they don't have the CD, although you probably got, like my car.
dude, there was times I bought both.
I never went that far, but I remember I bought.
I was like, this for the Walkman, this for the house.
It was during school, and I want to say I wasn't skipping school. I think I'd had a dentist appointment or something. I went to the mall afterwards just to bullshit for a bit, and I bought Dr. Dre's The Chronic and Easy E's. Was it Real Motherfucking G's or whatever that?
Yeah.
Great acapella,
Hey
guys.
yo, gangsta! Yeah, I bought
That
those.
was a great
two.
record. That was a great record.
I bought those both on tape. I remember. I don't know why I bought them. Maybe that's all they had that day. But I remember I initially didn't like The Chronic.
yeah?
First initial listen, because it relies so much on that soul sample.
G-Funk.
Yeah,
The Parliament
on
stuff.
the Parliament stuff, and it didn't click with me initially. But obviously it's one of my favorite albums now. Just you can pop on and just let it ride.
Yeah, it never. I understand the greatness of it.
Yes.
It never resonated with me.
Let me ask you a question about that.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. I was like, I can't with this.
This is something that actually came up recently. Car culture. Did you have friends with cars with speakers in them? Was that a thing?
Yeah.
Like,
10s or 12s?
10s or 12s or 15s? If you were,
not really, because I mean,
were y'all
in my circle of friends, like when somebody got a car, it was like, oh shit,
yeah,
like everybody piled into his shit because not everybody had them.
So we all had cars, and a lot of us, and this is a West Coast thing too.
Yes, yes, for sure.
So in the South, it was a car culture. We all had. I mean, I had every car I had until I was an adult proper had at least 2 10s in it.
Same,
right? So I was beating down the block, and to me, New York music just didn't hit the way West Coast and Southern music did. They didn't have that bass, and you put. I mean, I can hear the bass line for that awful Eazy-E song right now in my head.
Yeah, and it's funny because I went right to the melody and you went right to the bass.
That's you though.
Yeah.
Do me a favor and turn up the melody.
It was 2 years in a row now at the studio. The guy like turns all the drums and not the snare, just the kicks and the fucking bass all the way up, and then you lose the melody of it. And I'm like, I need you to turn.
You need that because this song is so
little bit.
Yeah. Total sidebar. I listened to your song about 4 times the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just digesting it. So.
Okay,
I'm good with what you're doing, and not that you need my stamp of approval.
No. But
it definitely everybody's in for a treat. It's a multiple listen treat. It's very, very good.
I think I'm putting it on Patreon tomorrow.
Oh no shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that was. I'm sure I got gifted CDs at some point in time, but my parents weren't going to buy me anything with that. At a certain point, all I did was listen to dirty rap music. So my parents aren't going to buy me anything like that. And I might have gotten like a Camelot gift card or some shit.
So I had an interesting discussion on the last Bobby Boogie Bop episode with Laura about that a bit. And like my father never disrespected my music, which I always like. I will try to take with me. I think I've already failed a few times, but I would do my best.
Sure.
Well, my dad used to come in to my room and he'd be like, "Hey, turn it down," or "Turn the music down." But it was never turn that shit down.
Turn that dumb shit
down.
Yeah,
it was never any of that. It was just turn it. And it was never anything about it being black music. But then I got to thinking about it in this conversation I was having with Laura, and I was like, probably because when he was in the 40s listening to rock and roll music, it was black music.
Right.
And he probably understood that it crossed those lines for him the same way it was crossing those lines for me.
So I've had this thought a lot. I've never actually verbalized it before, but I grew up in I'm not going to say a musicalist house because my parents did listen to music, but they didn't listen to they didn't listen to pop music.
My mom did, my dad did.
They didn't listen to anything like
what we consider oldies now, right?
Well, I mean, like my dad, and it's funny because as an adult now, I can appreciate the music they did listen to. My dad liked the Eagles and things of that nature. And they liked oh shit, what's his name? The guy that sings "Sweet Caroline."
Neil Diamond.
They love Neil Diamond.
Yeah, my dad loved Neil Diamond.
Like my dad had a reel-to-reel still, and like
that's awesome.
So my dad worked at the White House. Weirdest flex ever.
Wow.
But okay, like there's pictures of him holding the boom mic over Nixon. He worked in the. They
That's
said, "Hey,"
crazy.
they said,
I
"You can go to."
didn't know that.
Said you can go to Vietnam or you can go to the White House, and he's like, White House. But nonetheless,
back when the White House was in Alabama. Continue.
Strangely enough, they lived in the DMV back then.
That's crazy.
They had my dad had recordings of like these people would come play, at the White House or whatever. My dad had reel-to-reel recordings of
that's awesome.
These people playing. But saying that to say, my dad listened to country music in the 90s, and I did too. I mean, I could probably sing along to any country song. Yeah, if you have to.
Trisha Yearwood.
Sure.
Leanne Rimes.
These are all females. I don't know if you noticed this. How about Garth Brooks? Brooks and Dunn.
I'm more Chris Gaines kind of guy.
Joe, I've never said this to you before, and this isn't my house, but you can get the fuck out with that shit.
My favorite thing to do is bring up Chris Gaines to Garth Brooks fans.
Yes.
It's the
I'd
best.
forgotten about it. Just immediately, I saw the
I
fucking
saw
cover
your
of the
eyes.
album.
Like
I'm like, the first thing I was like, Joe kind of has Chris Gaines hair.
It's yes, you kind of do have Chris Gaines. Let it grow out a little bit and cover the one eye.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll put on a '90s country station sometimes, and
I mean, that was when country started becoming pop, though, right? That was a complaint because I listened to them, and I think
I used
they
to
didn't seem
hear
country.
I used to hear my dad listening to country around that time.
Yeah.
But way down yonder in Chattahoochee, I never knew how much the country would have been to me. But I learned how to live, and I learned who I was. A lot about living, and a little about love.
He sure does know a lot of Alan Jackson lyrics for some guy.
Is that Alan Jackson?
Yeah.
It's fun. So
I've been to the mouth of the Chattahoochee River before. Actually, it's literally just a hole.
It sounds like I'd like to go.
It's a hole with water coming out of it on the Appalachian Trail in Georgia. Don't worry, it's not too exciting.
What's her name?
Salamander Sally.
So look,
It's really moist in there.
So Alan Jackson made one of the like 4 or 5 country songs that I like.
Where were you in the world? Stop turning.
Like Red on a Rose.
I don't even know that song.
I'm a big fan of it. It's sad, but like it's one of my 5 favorite country songs. That Jolene, The Gambler,
Yep.
Lady.
Yep.
One of my 4 favorite country songs.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you the guy? Have I ever told you the story about Devil Went Down to Georgia? And
I know that.
My mom buying the album.
No, I know that song though.
So I love that song, and I, heard it on the radio for years as a child and thought it was just such a clever song. And let's be honest, it's a fucking rap song, right? With a couple breaks in it, and so
trash bars though.
So I remember my aunt had come to visit. We lived in Tullahoma, Tennessee at the time. Say that 3 times fast. Home of the George Dickel Distillery.
Oh yeah. Oh now yes. Now I know the place.
Of course. My dad to this day drinks George Dickel instead of Jack Daniels for that reason. Because our neighbor was the brewmaster. Anyways, I come home from school.
It's a lot of weird flexes today.
A lot of
weird flexes.
I come home from school and they've got this song playing. Like my parents had, the turntable with the wall units with speakers built in, and I didn't know what's going on behind those panels, but it was loud and I'm excited. And on the radio version, they don't say this, but the line is, "I done told you once, you son of a bitch, I'm the best there's ever been." And I heard that and I looked at my mom and I said, "Bitch? What's bitch?" I had never heard the word before.
Wow.
And the album was put in the back of the closet. So.
Oh man. You fucked it up with him.
I did. But I always thought that was a funny story about Charlie Daniels Band.
So my mom played music, like popular music, in the house every Saturday morning to clean. Like it was a thing, and it's where I got exposed, I think, to most of the 80s music. And I still love 80s music, and probably for that same reason. And it was the highlight of my weekends there because she hadn't started drinking yet. And you know what I mean? It was just a good time. And I used to always try to get her to like, "Can you write this down?" So I could ask my dad to get it for me because she would never get anything for me. But then I heard Thriller. And I was like, "Can you write it down?" And she said no. And then
that's wild.
Yeah. So I kept trying to tell my dad, I was like, "There's a song I really like. I want this, whatever it is, tape. I want it bad." And he was like, "Well, what is it?" And I was like,
"You wanted it bad."
Bad?
Let alone the absence nose there.
And look, it was dangerous to even bring it up to me.
Right, I know. I'd say it was on the nose, but you know how that is.
And it was black and white, really, at the end of the day.
Sure. It was 7 p.m. when the smoke clears. Although that's a 3-6 Mafia house.
Getting back into my history.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. I know that reference was a little off the wall. The thing that I kept running into was trying to explain to my dad what this was, and he couldn't. So the video premiered, and my mom had taped it and showed me the video. So I went back to my dad, and I was like, "It's the one where the monsters are dancing. That's the one." And he was like, "I have no fucking idea what you're talking about or what this woman is exposing to." So he called my mom and was like, "He wants this tape. And he says it's the one where the monsters are dancing." And she's like, "It's Michael Jackson's Thriller. That's what he wants." So, and she had the record by this point. And I used to, so I get excited when I talk about music at this kind of level. But like, so the record initially had him and it had the tiger on him, right? But the tape didn't. So like I was telling my dad, I was like, the guy's got a fucking tiger on him. Like there can't be, you know what I mean? There can't be any, there's a fucking tiger on this guy. But the tape didn't have it. So he would look for the tapes and he couldn't find what I was looking for. So
did he bring you walking like a panther one time? Like, well, there's a cat on this one.
No. But we're getting to LL Cool J here soon. So he told my mom was like, "It's Michael Jackson Thriller. Like, what are you living under a fucking rock?" And he was like, "Fair enough." So he bought Michael Jackson's Thriller for me. And that was my first tape I ever had. And I fucking listened to that shit. I mean, nonstop. And it was safe. You know, I could listen to it around anybody in my house without any problem. And then I had the first tape that I bought on my own was LL Cool J's "Mama Said Knock You Out," and I was in fifth grade. And ironically, it wasn't that song that made me buy it. I was at a party, and this guy Jonah, who was kind of a dick.
What up, Jonah?
What up, Jonah? Punching your fucking mouth. No. I'm sure he's fine, but he was a dick to me. I should get into that fucking pocket one day, but not today. Anyway, his older brother, Daniel, who I think was cut of a very similar cloth.
What up, Daniel?
What up, Daniel? He said, you should put this on for your party. And Jonah was like, I don't know. And he came in and he put it on, and it was the Mama Said Knock You Out album, but it starts with Booming System. And when I heard Booming System, I was like, I fucking need this. So I saved up money for my chores, and I bought Mama Said Knock You Out. That was the first tape I bought. And then once I realized that was kind of an obtainable thing, then I started buying music left and right all over the place. The first CD I got was when I graduated middle school, which my father was not 100% sure I was going to be able to pull off. He bought me my stereo system that I just recently got rid of, kind of, sort of. But it was like a 5-deck thing, but it was all connected as one. It's supposed to look like it could come apart, but it can't.
It doesn't. Yep.
And he bought me the box set of Star Wars soundtracks on CD to go with it. Like,
wow.
So, and to this day, that box set is one of my most prized possessions because it has some Star Wars songs on it that you really can't get anywhere else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there was one disc. The first disc was Star Wars, second was Empire, third was Jedi, and then the fourth was like randoms. So it had all of like the Jabba's Palace music. It had all of the Cantina music.
They used in any capacity, all the little background
Correct.
stuff.
And so like that was the only way you could get it. So I still kind of treasure that. And then the first CD I bought was 36 Chambers, and it was old at that point. I just wanted it on CD because I loved that album so much. And I mean, Tikal was already out, but I wanted to get 36 Chambers just to have 36 Chambers.
So real quick, and I don't know if this was, but do you guys remember the first DVD you bought?
Oh, geez.
I bought a DVD. I'll tell you mine. I bought it before I even had a DVD player. I bought Blade.
Oh, sweet.
When it came out.
So I got a DVD player for Christmas one year, and I also got some DVDs, and I can't remember what they all were. I know one of the first ones I got was Bram Stoker's Dracula.
And I had got... So I worked in the video rental industry, and which means I worked at a video store. Weird. I worked in the entertainment industry in the late 90s. No. Somebody had returned a Wizard of Oz on DVD, and we didn't even have DVDs at the time. So we just had a drawer, kind of lost and found. If it sits there long enough, you just take it. I took it home. So the first day I got a DVD player, I had Blade and the Wizard of Oz.
So let me tell you the first record I bought. And I don't know if I
don't know that I ever bought a record.
So
Yeah, I haven't.
So I got gifted a bunch of records. I was just mentioning on another show, this person that was a part of my life that I never bring up, but she's got some really funny stories that go along with her, is this lady named Sadi. Sadi worked at 95.5.
Oh.
And which was an urban radio station in the DMV area. And she used to bring crates of records that went out of circulation at the radio store, like at the radio station. And then I could just have whatever I wanted. I could just pick out whatever I wanted and have. And there's still stuff that she gave me on record that like never was released because like the single never popped or whatever.
Promo copies.
Yeah, and you can't find it anywhere now.
And back when they actually played records.
Correct.
Cue it up on the computer.
Correct. So she used to bring me records by the caseload. And the first one I ever bought, there was we used to drive down to Westview Mall. And at Westview Mall, they had a record store. It was like a music store, but they sold records for DJs there. And music came out on Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. This place, but the shipment came in Monday. And then they had to scan it all into the computer and put it out on the shelves for Tuesday. But this place would put it out on Monday. So we would always go there Monday if we could, if it was like something super hot that was coming out. And I went there and I wanted Helter Skelter's Operation Lockdown was what I was looking for. And they sold out of all the tapes and CDs, and all they had it on was record. And I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. and I took the record. I came home that night, dubbed it all to a blank tape, and then listened to it the next day.
I remember there was a mom and pop record store that it was a haul to get to. It was like an hour, which is a lifetime when you're 15, 16 to go, because they'd have stuff like the Friday before it would come out.
Right.
So, you know, you always heard these kids would like go over there on Saturday and get, oh yeah, I got all these new. So it was probably just a distribution thing.
Yeah.
More of a mom and pop situation.
Yeah. But that was always, and then there started being a couple other ones like record and tape stores that would open up, like little mom and pop spots that would have shit on Mondays. And I remember Adam and I went down to this place in Laurel one time. It was like one of the last places that we knew that put stuff out on Mondays, and got the Blueprint 2, Jay's The Blueprint 2 when that came out, and like listened to it in the car. I have a very specific memory of that as well. Yeah, and that'll do it. I thought that was going to be a quick show.
Mm-hmm. 3 of us.
3 hours later.
So much.
It's always at least hour and a half of Nerd Week.
Hey, don't forget we have merch.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, we actually sold one.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, get these while this lasts, because we got a new logo.
That's right.
soon.
We'll have a new logo.
These are going to be limited.
Don't forget to send your logo to chris.pinkerton@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, that whole Teespring thing.
Told you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
effortless.
I said that like several years ago, but you talking about the quality though.
Oh,
You said-
yeah, but then he started having them, and then I was like, how are the quality? He's like, good.
Well, I
was
mean,
like,
I always order one of everything before I put it out for public consumption, because I've gotten some stuff from Teespring that's just trash because the print wasn't. I mean, you upload and it tells you, it probably good, great, or no. And I'm imagining our logo that's on the back of the shirt. You try to make it as big as possible.
No,
and it said,
no. It was a choice.
It wouldn't let you make it big.
No, it could.
See, I tried to make it. It got to good, but I'm like, I'm afraid what good might look like.
Yeah, no, I made it. I had fun with it though.
Yeah, it's fun. The thing I don't like is so you've got like, say you've got a 2-piece logo, and you got some graphics and some writing, and you put it on shirt 1, and you want to put the same thing on the different type of shirt. You have to lay everything out again. It doesn't automatically put it in the same spacing and everything. It's just kind of, and that part of that was my reason, not just making it.
Yes,
in the file,
that's true.
So.
And then also, like, I don't know how to center text.
I don't know.
Like, everything is left justified.
Well, I did have an issue with the last thing I did, and they fixed it for me though.
Well, but I did that. But then when you do it on different things, the space bar equates differently, so it's all fucked up. So what I normally do is bring in like multiple layers of text and just center them all the best. They have like a grid, and just center them on the grid, and then that's the only way I could figure out how to do it. But I tell you, like some of that shit, I was like, that's not a bad looking little unit there. Like the Fambro price one with the tight rider front, and then the 4 that's all fucked up on the back. I was like, man, this is sharp looking. So I ordered a hoodie of that for myself. Because I like shit where it's like if you know, and if you don't know, you won't know.
Sure.
And that's what I mean. Like you won't affiliate it with anything else necessarily. It's like either you know.
Yep.
Shout out to the rest of the cool table, Beer and Bolters, 401k, Enter the Realm, Shadowcast Uncut, Stasis Lock, Toy Detox, I think, and building up to it, Fresh Communications, Verbally Challenged, and Breaking the Mold. And shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team. Raul on Instagram and Marilyn Phil on Twitter, Dante the Destroyer on Facebook. We have Manny behind the scenes. Gort helped me out with Force Sensitive, and we did an episode with Esteban recently that was quite good. But Esteban, like, it's one of those nice things about doing that show. He brought up something that like he had thought about that I would have never thought about. But he was like in the opening sequence of Revenge of the Sith, he was like, he had a fucking yellow starfighter. And I was like, fuck yes. And I was like, well, why? Who can, I mean, like, one's red and one's yellow. The toys are going to be painted different. I get it. But why does that matter? And he's like, no, it's not that. He's like, the first starfighter he flew was yellow and he can't let go. He can't. And I was like, dude, I would have never fucking thought about that, in a million years. And so like little things like that. So he actually is doing the Force Sensitive Instagram stuff now. So
nice.
Yeah,
it's dope.
Yeah.
And with that, Flacolabius.
Tasty Taint.
Tight Dick Player.